esses bens públicos, como a gente gera recursos escassos, como que a gente cria regras, a gente, como o falou, a gente precisa de legisladores, como que a gente toma decisão, como que a gente analisa a jurisprudência, que vai ter reputação. Bom, tá bom. Tem caos, vai expresso computador. Função que realmente representa a reputação de um indivíduo, né? O teu voluntarismo uma comunidade local, tem muito mais nuances, a resolução é muito maior, né? Que a gente consegue, de fato, capturar como um ser humano, né? Então, ferramentas de criptografias e on-chain, a gente vai ter muito mais uma pluralidade, muito mais profundidade de como nos representar digitalmente e conseguir destravar oportunidades de procurar emprego, encontrar parceiros e assim por diante. A gente tem um universo aí de possibilidades. Nosso gráfico social, né, como que a gente recupera de volta o nosso gráfico social das Big Techs e eu acho que os Big Techs têm seu valor, escala, mas é importante também ter esses dados localmente, a gente recuperar a nossa soberania desses dados e também destravar oportunidades, né? Então, a gente tem um gráfico social hoje que é global, né? As nossas redes sociais, e isso gera muita oportunidade, mas né, a rede social mais antiga são as cidades, né? E a gente deveria ter uma forma mais fácil de conectar os moradores, as pessoas dessas cidades. A gente já tem as tecnologias para isso, mas a gente tem muita burocracia que impede de a gente acessar esses dados e criar inteligência. Porque a gente cria essas layers de dados, né, de residentes, de informações públicas, com padrões que a gente possam ser abertos e a gente possa usar e gerar inovação e aplicações sobre comércio, né? Como que a gente consegue ter marketplaces locais, como a gente pode visualizar melhor a questão de preços e a gente decidir, muitas vezes, ou facilitar a compra, né, de produtos ou serviços da comunidade local para ter comunidades mais soberanas, um pouco mais resilientes, né? Ao invés de simplesmente só terceirizar coisas. Então, a IPVillage é para isso, né? A gente faz esses pop-up cities para prototipar essas soluções e experimentar e vivenciar isso, né? Então, a gente tenta realmente, vamos comprar CRI, vamos usar a plataforma para criar reputação, vamos gerar oportunidades baseadas nessas reputações. Então, a gente tem parceiros, por exemplo, que estão buscando, por exemplo, a gente precisa desse talento, dessa pessoa, a gente tem vagas abertas. A gente vai rodar todos esses build-a-thons, a gente está de olho, né? A gente trouxemos os estudantes, tem várias pessoas, né, buscando oportunidades, e a gente vai gerar esses registros, analisar o comportamento, analisar a qualidade dos projetos e conectar com as empresas. Então, é um ambiente de oportunidades, né? Então, vamos fazer um vídeo. Já mencionamos das 3 Hacker Houses. A gente tem AI House, Founder House, Privacy House e House de outros parceiros que a gente está. A gente abre para o pessoal trabalhar e buildar. Aqui algumas fotos. Temos os prêmios que eu já comentei. A agenda a gente já falou também. E você pode ver com arquiteto e explorer. E é isso. Acho que está correndo tempo, mas é um resumo isso dos pilares que a gente está explorando durante esse mês para construir na Pop-Up City. E agora vamos chamar o Sul para falar um pouquinho mais da parte concreta e privacidade. Valeu, galera. Obrigado. Bom dia.
To get some fruit salad. No, well, and plus. Get you microphones. Yeah, there you go. Guys, gafe brasileira, já ouviu falar? How do you translate that to English?
Breakfast.
Right? I'm a healthy founder. I'm breaking my fast, so I would love to introduce you guys. Come up here. You're ready? So the good part is that's a good friend, Su. He's one of our leaders of the ecosystem here in Floripa. Amazing founder. Um, has done so much for the ecosystem of Floripa. So I just wanted to also firstly thank you for joining us today as Startup Friends, and welcome to Ipe.
Thank you for making this happen. It's like eBay is one of the places where I can see a lot of friends coming from all over the globe here. Before I started English, I prefer to talk to English, but I see most people here seem to speak Portuguese and a few speak only English. Who here does not understand Portuguese? Okay, I think this is a fair amount of people for us to go on with the plan of studying in English. Who here does not speak English at all? Okay, so we're going in English. Uh, well, hello everyone. I'm gonna go through a bit of governance today. I had initially planned to talk more on governance security today, but through the conversations yesterday and the presentations yesterday, I saw there are some topics of what governance, why governance, that come before the how of governance. So learning the basics and understanding why I want to do things with governance is important to come first. And the idea here is to bring a little bit of the experience of the DAO experiments of Ethereum. DAOs are decentralized autonomous organizations, and thinking of DAO coordinations as states is something we have tried a little bit, have a lot to learn. The whole movement that comes after Balaji's book opens up a lot of new questions for how we coordinate on the internet, of how we use digital tools to make better governance. And well, that's what I want to get into a bit today. We've, as humans, been coordinating, been governing our stuff together for a long time. And I believe the next one is with code. I'm Zug. I'm a researcher at Blockful. I'm the head of research of a product called Anti-Capture, where we analyze some of the biggest online treasuries that are collectively governed to make sure they don't get robbed. Some of my clients hold a few $billion on chain, and you don't want a few $billion to be robbed because your government would afford. I've been through a few pop-ups. I think that those are very valuable experiences for us to learn how to think future. And as I was saying, we've been governing together for a long while. Since we were tribes, even before that, but every time we got bigger groups, every time we got better at getting people together and managing resources, we had to improve even further. And that has been through a lot of steps. And all of them were technology. Governing ourselves is a technology, and better technology makes for better results. At some point, if we didn't coordinate, we would not survive. If you're in a savannah, you need to hunt, and the beast is bigger than you need three friends, and you need to throw the spear at the right time. But as the resources get more complex, the system that governs those resources needs to get more complex to be able to do that. And as the system complexifies, the governance around it needs to complexify too. You cannot run this society with like, I don't know, 2,000-year-old governance nowadays. It wouldn't work. One we have is like 200, 100 years old, like 400 if you want to say it's Westphalia. But like, it already doesn't work. So we need to upgrade with it. And to upgrade to the next ones, it's important we understand where we come from, right? What are the bases that got us all this way? So classic example, monarchy. Everyone has heard of a king. Monarchy is a very efficient system. Beautiful system. It works very well, except it has a big flaw. It's only as good as the king. A philosopher, lovely, perfect king that cares for his people is the best governing model you ever had. The guy's a genius, can read all your minds and your hearts, but if his son is a tyrant, we're all in big trouble. So
Every system, even the most classical one, is going to have its pros and cons. From monarchy, we go to feudalism. We have crisis in the monarchy, things break down, and we start having this first moment of like where things decentralize in a manner. Instead of one king, you have many lords, and that has positive sides, has downsides. You have a lot of conflict, have different choices, and that starts breaking. We unite after those feuds into little burgs, start having a bourgeois democracy over time. And we start having the people that are running society, that are putting money, that are making jobs happen, that are making assets happen. They are going to get choice. And that allows us to include more and more people over time. But that's gets us kind of where we are today, where having participation doesn't mean you actually have a voice. Okay, who here feels very well represented by the people they voted for, right? So we keep evolving, and I think the best ignored example of governance is corporate governance. Corporate governance is a quite curious mix of, let's say, a parliamentary monarchy of the modern times, right? Where you have CEOs and founders where you can really centralize power, really push execution, where you can have boards that can keep those in check and move through other perspectives. And well, you have a whole government that is kind of a company too, that kind of runs over those. And well, we try to figure out in each country how that should work. Those are all examples of how we developed. I don't think any of those is good for today. I think we're thinking new cities. We want to vibe code a new city, prompt a new reality. We want to get good minds that look at the future and understand where we're going for. And for that, we're going to need to choose how we're going to govern this. And a beautiful thing about pop-up experiments, about network states, is that they're likely going to be governed differently from place to place. I haven't seen two experiments that have the same intention on how they're going to govern themselves. And I find that very exciting to see that the plurality comes through. And at some point, though, any experiment is going to have to make those choices. Change happens slowly and then all at once. At some point, there's a 10-year gap between having more cars and more horses in New York streets. We go slowly, create tech, have new problems, start solving them, and suddenly, oh, it just change comes faster than expected. And I love this quote from Anderson and his techno optimism. I think my techno optimism, one of those names, the books of this guy, where he's stating over and over how we have all the tech. It is here. We can transform with software everything. Now it's time to do it. And that is because we have a lot of tools that allows us to do that. We have governance that can be mirrored all over the globe. I don't need to only govern my neighborhood or my city. So you can have a global network that governs itself. We don't depend on single points of failure when you're talking about blockchain governance, for example, where like a single server or a single failure is going to turn it down. And well, lots of different tech points that facilitate this. And I want to get a little bit into why we would be using them to make it different. I think being in a network society conference, the idea was a network state is a bit clear, but we have multiple perspectives. I just want to bring this very direct definition of not even the sentence, more focused on the pieces of it, right? You can start with cloud, you're digital, you have community, which allows you to create a treasury, which allows you to acquire or rent or be in a territory and get a recognition from the states that be, the powers that be. And you need the online community, a crypto economy, you need to be able to coordinate collective action and get recognized. All those things can exist. They don't depend on each other. Their connection that makes it powerful. And the timing for experimenting with those things is now better. We're in a spot where old system is failing, but not only old system is failing, the new system has everything it needs to go forward. And really, it's not only because why now, but it's like, what else? Really, what are you gonna do? Like, We don't have time to wait. We don't have a social contract that stays firm. We can't really afford like who runs the show to be incompetent with what we have right now. And we have AI, have war, we have climate change. If we don't do stuff, we're not going to be in good positions in a few years. So we can't rationally be lazy with being a techno optimist right now. So yada yada, why? I want to bring a little bit of the first governance systems that we designed for the internet. And those are DAOs. They are native, internet focused, crypto centric, and they're decentralized autonomous organizations. They're groups of nerds around the globe in the beginning that have shares on the same treasure. And they're going to vote, choose how to allocate that. But they're not going to be voting to elect someone to do it, and they're not going to be voting and hoping someone does it. It's not as we get together here and we make a show of hands, who's going to go get water? And then we vote for me, and now I have to go and get water. DAOs runs on smart contracts. It means that if we vote and the vote succeeds, it is going to execute. The transaction, the crypto transaction, happens as the trade happens. There's no step in the middle for us to say like, oh no, look, actually, as I am the one executing, I'm going to hire my cousin to do it instead. No, it follows the code. And I think this is already a big improvement from what we have today. But it doesn't go yet all the way to network states. The stack that we use is having basically 3 layers of what's going to happen here, right? You can have whatever discussion platform you want. You can have off-chain, meaning not blockchain-based votes, or on-chain, meaning transactions that count as votes. And then you have execution. That can both be done by elected representatives, as you know happens today, or as I was saying, through autonomous execution. Some of those examples of DAOs, like Uniswap, the biggest decentralized exchange, treasury worth billions of dollars, voting on how to allocate that money that comes from fees, from profit, into new teams to make new technology, voting whether to upgrade their contracts on chain or not, change the technology, change the protocol, or where do they have their legal entity? Is it going to be the United States? Are they going Caymans? How are you playing around it? All of that is voted, and all of that is chosen through smart contracts on Ethereum. And that can be done in a lot of different Uniswap, Aave, any big DAO nowadays. One token, one vote. Basically, you vote with your money. You buy tokens, you get votes. Good part, it's simple, it's easy. That part, money calls all the shots. That's not ideal for every system. I'm particular biased towards reputation-based systems. I love that Jean brought both social graphs and reputation before. I think those are 2 tools that really plug well into governance, but they're not part of governance. Governance depends on them being done well. If you have a good reputation system, a good social graph, all of those things that I'm showing here, they can be way better, but it depends on those other pieces of the stack to superpower. Beyond one token, one vote, you can have quadratic, where more people with little power voting matter more than one single person with a lot of power voting. Also pros and cons. Conviction voting, the longer you hold an idea, the longer you take your power and you allocate your voting power, your voice, to support that idea, the more valuable your vote counts. Because if you're changing your mind all the time, you don't really know what you're doing. If you have an idea, if you're intentional, if you're committed, that's what gives you more voting power and conviction. Delegation, where you can pick someone to vote for you, which is different than representation. Delegation doesn't mean you make the choices for me forever as a congressman for 4 years or whatever. It means you get my vote, and until I change it, you can represent my vote. Futarchy, that's quite new and quite interesting, which means you bet on the results. You say like, I think that should we do this? And then everybody bets. If we do it, does our collective valuation go up or down? And if more people think that doing this makes our value, or whatever metric we pick, become better, then we do it. And people who are wrong lose their money, so they're bad. And then rage quit with exiting. It's not really a voting mechanism, but it's an important mechanism on governance, being able to just get out with your part, with your shares, whenever you want, because you're not obligated to hear what other people think. It's your money, it's your votes. If you disagree, get your stuff and go somewhere else. All of those systems keep kind of the same problems nowadays, and those are problems that governance on chain has to overcome to be able to really do states well in the future. And those are quite annoying challenges. First one is that voting sucks. Having to show up and look at proposals that are 20 pages long, have a lot of technical details, and you have to vote because it's your choice. Well, what do we do? You have no idea. You're not technical, or you don't know economy, and well, you get tired. Voting is sometimes a full-time job. A friend in Switzerland, moving to Switzerland is like now she has a second job. It's like she's also a congresswoman, but she has so many stuff to read and vote all the time. Second big issue, governance capture, especially when we're talking of share-based. Is wrong at the time because crypto is a roller coaster. Some people are very exposed. And last one is legitimacy. Can use code to make something happen that doesn't need community embrace, and that creates distance, and that breaks legitimacy. So you have 100, and they vote, and whatever they say happens. And now no one really feels like their ownership matter. Your 0.5% is nothing when it feels like nothing. And well, this is kind of the state we are right now in DAOs. We've come a long way. First DAO experiment, it's worth noting, is in 2016 with the DAO, 15 to 16. And it's been now 10 years of building pieces on top of that, trying to figure out new ways. And it has come a long way, but we're at the edge of some of the biggest changes there. I think AI is a big change in the loop. We've been doing a block for AI governance systems for 2 years now, and they're amazing and they're terrible. They're like a beautiful, annoying thing. They solve voter fatigue instantly. You make your own digital twin, you give it all your opinions, and you say, dude, just vote for me. Here's the constitution of the organization. Here are 3 books that I love on how we should govern stuff. Just make my votes. And then you have no idea how does it make such dumb votes after. It gets 90% right. Soon enough, voting all the time will not be an issue. But you can both use AI for governance, but you can also use governance for AI. It's a whole other topic, but quite fun to bringing AI into this thing in the last couple of years. It's really changed how far I think it can go. And the next step in here that I think matters for pop-ups, for network states specifically, is how we govern territory. As we're living together, it stops being trivial. It stops being, oh, I don't like it, I'm gonna get out. Because getting out means moving with my 2 small kids out of their school to a whole new area where half my rights are gone. Then governing is non-trivial. I like to leave with an invitation for everyone to debate if you'd be in IP as a resident long term, should be living with those people that are sitting by your side, meeting, I don't know, once a week, once a month. I don't know how often you see your neighbors, but what type of rules would you like to have together? What type of how do you think decisions should be made? I think there are multiple possible paths. Sometimes not governing, just having a founder CEO that leads for the first full generation is good enough for many projects. For others, it's not. So what would you want in a network state to do that the nation, the country, however you want to call it, that you live in, does not? Happy to check more on that or take questions. I also leave some reading sources that might be interested for anyone who knows. My favorite ones here are My Techno Optimist by Vitalik and Plurality of Audrey Tang. Very, very curious ways to look at this. Thank you.
Actually, I do have time for a few questions. Would anyone like to start? Here.
Just a comment. I think one thing that is important to realize is that we kind of try to figure out the best way to cover. I think there is an important note that is the the only the possibility of having several in discussing many different approaches for governance. This is already big deal because we didn't think about that in this status quo. So like it's exploding. There is innovation there, they can do differently. So you show like Turkey and stuff like even the possibility of testing and seeing the results and many of these approaches going to work because maybe different community works or for a different budget or different industry. So having this plurality and this design space to experiment and test, this is already a big deal. Like it's a new frontier. So that's it's a was a good slide and thank you.
Thank you. Yeah, I think not only the capacity to discuss is already amazing, but they did it. Now we can make one that peaks with them because each one is good for one thing. So you can use Twitter for some stuff, Pokemon Vote, quadratic, fiction, for different parts of society that you need different stuff.
I'm just want to hear if this, well, if when this progress, your thoughts are this, called the border, the state, how do you call it?
That never says
State. If the, will, how will they evolve, from a local, place, like a village, a city, to in statewide or nationwide. And so I'm thinking of going back to the city states as we used to have. So this is kind of going back hundreds of time, hundreds of years in time.
Yeah, I
And you have to think about the whole world today is divided in nation states.
yeah,
And I'm going like the European Union, even farther than nation states. So
I really like the capacity, and I think we undervalue the capacity that big nation states today have in keeping basic public goods working. Roads are pain, yes. Water systems are hard to do. Electricity, it's annoying. All of those big things are a lot of trouble, and I don't think network states are going to be in any place to do this in a global scale with over Atlantic cables in the near future. I think recognition from states, that's the last step, like 5 steps there, and one of them is recognition, is because I think it's autonomous city states that have good relations with their hosts. We're a little parasite getting ready to get them down over a long time, or to cooperate, depending on how the relation goes. But I think network states and nation states have a symbiotic relation for the near future, where having special areas where you have a big producing capacity, high intellectual capacity, high creative capacity, can really benefit the nation state while giving territory and allowing us to be and do things our way is beneficial for us, beneficial for us too. So I think this is a partnership. It's not a war. Nation states are the ones that make war, and they make war in one another. With just part of another game, and for now they're there. In the long term, I'm a believer of federalism. I think like federated city states are quite a powerful thing. With this being one of the only ways I can see different government structures being able to cooperate. Because nowadays, when we see big nation states, they have different structure, different goals, different values. They bump each other. I don't think that's what we should be trying to replicate.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Sue. So my advice after the talk is just join a DAO. It's a very impactful thing to do. Is if you're like trying to figure out like if you're trying to figure out what is it even like how does the voting works? I think it's what Joe was telling us yesterday. Sometimes you just gotta do it. Just join one and start participating, and it becomes real. So I think that is Artisan in that? Artisan? No? But it does quadratic funding, right? So I think all these teams, a lot of the month of IPE, it's gonna have all these experiments that you can kind of like figure out how to be part of a DAO. I think last year I joined like Move DAO, I joined like all these like clear projects this guys kept showing in the screen, and it helps you understand. So I'm gonna call up our next speaker, Guilherme Tandelo, which is a neighbor that he lives also here in the neighborhood, and we're so happy to have you here with us today. Thank you so much for joining us, Guilherme. Welcome to the conference.
Thank you very much. Well, thank you, Zell, for this awesome presentation about DAOs. I feel like you answered like half of the questions everybody might have about my presentation. And here, obviously, I'll be presenting Rootstock, but the reason is because I'm a delegate, a recognized delegate at Rootstock Collective DAO. It's kind of like the reason I'm here is because of a DAO as well. Okay. Um, Okay, so the title of my presentation is Sovereign Infrastructure, Programmable Bitcoin for Network States. First of all, who am I? I'm a mechanical engineer by formation. I've been into Bitcoin mining. I fell in love by Web3 and DeFi since 2019 and never ever stopped doing it and continue doing it to this day. Well, so Rootstock is not my main job. I'm a head of products at a tokenization stablecoins company, Open Assets. It's not very well known, but it's the company behind Hadron by Tether. And I'm also, as I said, a recognized delegate at Rootstock Collective DAO, and that's why I'm here today. We have a friend, we have Kaf. Can you please stand up, Kaf, so everyone can see you? Kaf, along with me, is also a recognized delegate at Stock Collective DAO. He's going to be here as a resident in Ipe Village for the full month. So he's available, guys. Speak with him, ask questions, get his help. Okay? Thank you, Kaf. Okay, so we have a problem. Network states need some kind of financial, or we prefer crypto, right, for doing our financials, some kind of crypto infrastructure that no government can censor or shut down or confiscate. Nowadays, we've been happy to do this on Ethereum and Solana, but we can also do this on Bitcoin, right? The problem is Bitcoin alone cannot run a DAO, a DEX, Web3 or DeFi or borrowing lending. So that's why we have to put resources in place or workarounds in place to be able to do that. That's why Bitcoin has 1.3 trillion market cap, but only a very, very, very tiny portion of that is being put to work today, is in a DeFi, right? So we have a huge infrastructure gap there. Okay, so let's get to know what is Rootstock. Rootstock is the first and most resilient Bitcoin sidechain. It's live since 8 years ago. So if you think about it, it's almost half of the life of Bitcoin. It's fully EVM compatible, and it's secured by actual Bitcoin mining. Most people don't know that. Um, through a mechanism called merged mining, it was actually proposed by Satoshi Nakamoto himself. So it's not something crazy that someone invented. This was proposed by Satoshi very early on, and Rootstock implemented it 8 years ago. And it uses Bitcoin as a native, so no shenanigans native tokens as well. So how does BTC move in and out of Rootstock? I'm going to spare you of the complicated details because it's very well thought out, and it's not the purpose today to explain everything. Just I'm going to say it's permissionless, open source, auditable, audited, and it has had 0 accidents since its inception 8 years ago. Peg in and peg out are permissionless, so anyone can interact with the smart contract, lock in their BTC on Bitcoin layer 1, and get RBTC in Rootstock blockchain. Permissionless and secured by actual Bitcoin proof of work and hardware verification. You can check all of that. It explains everything very well detailed. Okay, so why sovereign communities? Why would you use a rootstock to do DeFi on nation states and sovereign communities? Well, I told you about merged mining already. So rootstock is secured by almost 90% of Bitcoin's hash rate. To each their opinion. My opinion, my personal opinion is I take it as secure as Bitcoin. That's how I personally like to look at it. It has had 100% uptime since its launch, with never gone down, no hacks, no accidents ever. It's fully open source, everything, the smart contracts, the pegging logic, the hardware, wallets, everything. It has below 1 minute block time or below 30 seconds. It's not amazing, it's Solana, but it's actual proof of work, Bitcoin proof of work. So it's much less than 10 minutes, and that's quite amazing, I think. And as I said, no new token shenanigans. Native token is our BTC, which is actual BTC or one-to-one BTC peg. Okay. And it has a thriving ecosystem with DEXs, lending, borrowing protocols, known stablecoins like USDT, USDT Zero, USDC, USD RIF, which is a native stablecoin, and dollar on chain, which is interesting. It's a native stablecoin, BTC collateralized. So it's interesting. And it runs MetaMask and hardware wallets, supported by all the main exchanges. Okay, so that is like what is Rootstock. So let's talk about building Rootstock. If you ever built on Ethereum, you can literally build on Rootstock today. It's EVM. There's more or less compatible EVMs. Rootstock is absolutely traditional compatible EVM. It supports everything we're used to, all the standards, the smart contracts, the environments, the script libraries, and it runs on MetaMask or compatible EVM wallets. It has all the token standards that are in use nowadays. ERC 4626, it's quite used nowadays, vault tokens. And also everything you would expect for developer environment, like the RPC, the CLI, testnet with Faucet, Bitcoin, we test Bitcoins, and all the third-party integrations, like Tenderly, the Graph, Fireblocks, and it has rootstock named services, which is the human readable wallet naming, similar to ENS. Everybody knows what is ENS. We have RMS, which is exactly the same. So you can have named wallets on rootstock. Okay, that was about my presentation. I only have two more slides. I think there are maybe, that was nice. That was so everybody like pays attention now. Thank you, Paloma. I have two more slides. I think they are maybe the most interesting ones. Um, so if I can have special attention now. Okay, so let's say you want to build on rootstock, but you're bootstrapped. I know how it is. I've had my own Web3 project. So how can you get supported, right? We have two funding paths, or more than two, but let's group it on two funding paths. We have a DAO treasury and we have grants for builder projects. Typically, grants go around $5,000 to $35,000. I'm gonna be honest with you. It's very easy, but also it's hard to get a grant. What do I mean by that? You just need to have a full vision of your product, end to end. What is my product? What is the public? How it's gonna happen? When it's gonna happen? What is the solution? The problem it solves. If you have a vision for your product, end to end, you can definitely, absolutely get a grant. Okay, to cover everything you need. Building auditing, we know it's very expensive, and you never want to launch something on mainnet which is not audited, so you can get a grant for that. I said it's hard because if you don't have a full vision, like you just have an idea and a PowerPoint, you're not gonna get a grant. I'll be honest with you. You have to apply and then you're gonna be answering questions for like 4 weeks. So save your time. If you have a full vision of a product, go in there, spend a month answering questions, and you get a grant. Okay? We have a few other paths. We have the builder activation, which is once you have a project on Rootstock, you can just issue a vote on the DAO to be activated as a builder. And then stakers can like delegate their staking, so you get actual Bitcoin rewards from stakers. So this is pretty nice. This is like an ongoing Bitcoin rewards. You just have to be a builder, have an interesting project. You're gonna get like monthly, small monthly Bitcoin rewards. And then there's the activator, which is like you can go in there and make small missions and get small rewards. But if you have a thoughtful project, a thoughtful product, consider applying for a grant. And there's also funding path number two, which is the AP Village Build-a-thon. I hope we all know what it's about. So it's 20 days continuous hackathon. We're offering, or Rootstock is sponsoring $3,000 in awards for the build-a-thon. So you just need to build your beautiful projects with vibe coding and AI agents. We just want functional prototypes built on Rootstock, real products, solving real problems to be used by real people, for agents. Maybe this way nowadays you have, maybe you're building something for agents, right? This is valid. Yeah, so actual code, actual smart contracts. If you wanna ship something, presented on May 1st on demo day. We're gonna be here, me and Kaf, selecting the top projects. I think there's a synergy between both paths. This could be a first step before submitting for a grant application after the village is over, especially if you already do a strong prototype, present a strong project for demo day. I think you have, a clear path towards in the future requesting a grant. Um, that was kind of my last slide. So just to wrap it up, as I mentioned, Rootstock website is pretty nice. It has a lot of stuff. You can go rootstock.io/, POW peg to learn about the peg in and peg out. I don't like to call it a bridge. I think it's oversimplifying. But yeah, so how Bitcoin gets bridged in and out of Rootstock. This is really nice. Those two websites in there for developer material, the documentation is really nice, really, really nice. The website is beautiful. Even the visual identity, I think it's well thought out. Again, me and Kath, we are there in the Rootstock Collective DAO webpage. You can reach us there. You can ask our WhatsApp. You can ask questions to us during this month in IP Village. Kath is going to be more present than I. Usually on weekdays, I'll struggle a little bit. I have my other job, but I'll try to be present as much as possible. But Kath is here in Jurere for the full month. Okay? So by all means, speak with him. Just, you want to say a few words? Come here, come here.
The name is Rob.
Oh,
So, okay. I'm a Telegram staff. Uh, in the Telegram staff, Telegram, Twitter, and company.
okay. So in summary, this is wrong. The ads in there are wrong. Just speak with him and get his contacts. Okay, so one last thing. Today is actually Kaf's birthday, is it? Okay. I think maybe you can ask for a gift for everyone to, I don't know, maybe send awesome projects, awesome prototypes. If that's not too much to ask for the man's birthday, so please by all means.
Wow, so if you love Calf, you have to give him project for his birthday. I love it. No pressure. Let's open for some questions. We have a few minutes. Who would like to question? How old are you, Karen? I'm joking. Question, guys. Any questions?
The DAO man, I'm nervous. Nothing complicated, please.
No, I was gonna exactly ask how you guys vote. I was like, what's the decision making for approving a proposal? If I propose to DAO I want a grant for this project, who gets to choose if I get it or not? How?
Okay, I was paying attention to your presentation, I think. We don't have any crazy mechanics like quadratic or weighting and whatnot. It's just everything linear, one token, one vote. But maybe the only detail is we have the recognized delegates program. So like me and Kaf were like recognized delegates. We don't get more power, we don't get more weight, but a lot of people will delegate to us. So for, you know, based on free will, we do have a lot of voting power, but it's just because a lot of delegates to us. We have about maybe 8 recognized delegates. They don't get any special powers, just they get a lot of delegation. That's all.
That's nice, thank you.
But yeah, so I was enjoying when you were explaining delegation and all the other model. I was like, hey, so when I say I'm a delegate, people understand.
Awesome. Okay, thank you so much, Jurere, for your time. So I was mentioning someone should join a DAO during the next month. Oh, we have one.
Just buy Reef tokens and stake. You can vote.
All right.
That's all you need to do.
So maybe we should do group on Monday with CAF that people that want to get onboarded into the DAO can come together and we can onboard some people. There you go. So guys, we are gonna have our next guest joining us live. So if you can put them up in the screen. Fabio Seba is gonna talk about what a single card swipe reveals about your life. Fabio, can you hear us? You can see me here. Yeah, you can see me here.
Can see you. Yeah, I see you.
So you're big in the screen. Are you gonna screen share?
Okay, yeah. Can see the screen now.
Yeah, we can see it.
Okay, great.
Oh, sorry, I can see you, not your screen.
Sorry. Yes, you know.
Yeah, it's coming in. We can see it. Perfect. We can see you, hear you. Welcome to the Startup Site Conference number 3. I'm so excited. We're halfway through it. We're excited to have you join us. The floor is all yours. I think we just had some camera.
That's my honor.
Awesome. Floor is all
Sorry
yours.
guys, I'm in this one right now. I'm going to Florida next month. Yeah, it's an honor to be here and have this. Thank you. I'm not a technical guy. It's still publisher plus person publisher life. I spent the last few years working to make crypto normal, acceptable, and I launched a crypto watch, crypto sunscreen, the first one saving pasties, real products for real people. Telling the story, crypto is not a scam. And for a long time, that was our dream, right? Mass adoption, make technology disappear. We fixed the UX, we begged regulators to give us clarity, and well, be careful what to wish for. Because something hit last year, regulators thought not everywhere worked good enough. Stablecoins were real. Banks started paying attention, and suddenly the conversation went from how do we get people in to here's one more to that. Crypto cards are maybe the clearest example of this innovation. You've seen them. Year 5 gas, not pay, dozens of new players with a single pitch. Spend your crypto like cash. Tap and go cash back, no friction, and it's working. Millions of cards issued, people signing up for the convenience, the perks, the savings. But let's see a marketing piece of one of those. We'll share my piece here, and I put the translation for those of that I said for trees. Yes, sir.
The audio is not coming in. Fabio, maybe you can just narrate for us what's happening. Fabio, can you hear us? The audio is coming through there. We can hear the audio. We can see it, but not hear the audio.
Okay, well you can read it anyway, right?
Not. It's very hard to read. So maybe you can just tell us what's happening in the video.
Yeah, good that. So girls just showing how to use money outside of this like, lifestyle influencers promoting pictures, walks, is whatever in the plot explore their lives. So she's talking about iOS, tax, or foreign transactions. He talks about how this benefit is the greatest for travelers, the workers. You see, she don't talk anything about crypto. And I will show you something. Nobody's telling them what's on the other side. That's it for all. And I will show you what's on the other side. Here, I paused the video. This was less than 1 second. I don't know if you noticed, but here it is. A date and an amount, 71.73. And I thought, how far these two numbers could take me, because I know how to look at your skin, right? So I built a dashboard, into nothing fancy, just very public data. I'm not a technical guy, but I just using the great using AI and from just these two numbers you can type here, the date and the amount. I found the card address, and from the card address, I found everything. 6 months in financial history, $768 spent, 57 transactions. Um, let's see what else here. Average transactions, the smallest transactions, the largest transactions. the monthly spend average, the busiest day, the time, the busiest time, the busiest days. Four funding wallets, one with 700 USDC. If you trade those wallets, you give them to ENS, what the protocols to identity. Very good. And so could that everything is permanently good, not because they choose to share it, but because nobody told them they were. You can argue that no one is sharing social media. I agree. But the same information is presented on every turn except and every receipt you decided to throw away the trash when you buy the bar at night. It takes seconds for someone to know how much you have to pay. You cannot deny it to the point that now isn't about not space. I'm not here to name and shame anyone. This is structural. Any self-custodial card that settles on a public blockchain does this. The chain doesn't know it's a card payment. It's simply there. When a crypto card were a niche thing used by people who understood their scam and honestly, who really does it, right? This was a well that's not who's signed up before. The new wave of users heard about cashback from an influencer. Nobody walked them through what the public blockchain actually means for the Friday afternoon coffee. And that gap between what users think they sign up for and what they actually sign up for, that gap is where the real danger is. And here's the thing that keeps me up at night. This trend is accelerating. I told you I'm not a technical guy. I built a dashboard, functions, and basic queries. Now imagine what happens when AI gets better at pattern matching on-chain data. And when someone builds an agent that cross-references your card address with your social media, your location check, your ENS, your water wallets, the barrier would drop to zero. More new banks are launching crypto cards products every month. More crypto users are signing up. More financial data is landing on public chains. And then there is a bigger picture. Programmable money, central bank digital services. In Brazil, we watch Pix transform payments overnight. 175 million users. Now everyone wants Pix in their neobanks. And this one leap away from what I showed to you. The dream of sovereign, private, electronic cash is slipping away. What we're building instead is a system where every transaction is a data point that someone can read. A company, government, or a stranger. So where does that leave us? The private community, many of you has been saying this for years. Public by default is dangerous. Financial privacy isn't a feature, it's a right. The infra needs to change before the mainstream arrives. Well, the mainstream is right now. But I'm not here to be the pessimistic. I actually believe we can get this right. Because privacy and compliance aren't opposites. The sweet spots between systems where users are private by default, but can prove compliance when they need to. Where the data exists for regulators, but not for the entire world. That's why we are building at Haven, a private by default new way that breaks the link between your on-chain data and the compliance data. We're not alone, but we need more hints. We need them faster. And we spent years asking for mass adoption. We got it. People are here, they're swiping cards, earning cashback, living their lives. Now, beyond them, the infrastructure that protects what they see and what they didn't know. The dashboard you see here, I built Airbook. You can search for not stage or 5 minutes. You can use others. And if you use one of these cards, one of the systems, you can go check out your own folder. And if you're using this in this space, or even just thinking about it, you can find me, yeah, let's talk. The problem shouldn't be more obvious. Thank you.
Awesome, Javier. So we're gonna open for some questions. I got very concerned after this one, so I'm imagining your faces are also concerned. Would anyone like to start?
I will leave this here so you all can check by yourselves.
So Fabio, what is the solution you have for basically if I use a card to somehow not link all my transactions together and be available on chain?
Okay, right now, by the way, I'm one of the users of these cards, right? I use it as not to stay, but I don't use it for every. I use it for some travel that I spend with people, but not everything. And I always top up these cards with freshly wallets. So I cannot have this direct relationship between the card and my wallet. Of course, this can be tracked back, but it's not my entire life that's there exposed from one side, right?
We have a follow-up, just one second.
No, that's true. I think for either price list, you can fund it using private schools, and that will destroy the link between your wallet and the service. But within the service, you still can basically you can see all transactions that belong to the same account, right? Is there a solution for this problem? Do you have an architecture in mind that would avoid that?
Yeah, in Haven we are using price and other protocols as well. But and I heard a lot of people talking about optional price. I don't believe so. Optional price just expose strictly for price. Like Zcash sometimes you know that 10 to 50% of the users they use privately. They're exposed somehow. So my my vision is that everyone has to choose private by default. Like Apple decided to do their systems a couple of years before. You cannot give that option to people. You simply go private and let everyone use this as much as we can. So the mix be more protected. But the more people using it, the more we are.
Hey, Fabio, thank you very much for joining us. Hope to see you back in the island soon.
Thank you guys. Like,
Definitely gonna check my cards after this one. It's, I mean, you said something very interesting, right? Privacy by default or public by default. I think there's a lot I gotta rethink where my money is. Okay, so our next talk is gonna talk about how stablecoins can help foster network societies. And he is one of our Brazilian favorite, I think I can hear myself. Influencers of our crypto, Rafael Castaneda. Asta, can you hear me?
Yes, it's fine. And you?
Yeah, we can hear you. We miss you here in the island. Thank you so much for joining us again at Startup Society Conference.
Yes, a pleasure to be here. I'm sorry not attending personally this time.
That's okay. We're happy to have you. We're just fixing you in the big screen. Are you gonna screen share with us today?
Well, actually,
Okay. Can you still hear us? I think we lost you for a second. Let's try again. Can you hear me now?
I hear you, but I cannot see you.
Okay, so we will move forward just with the audio for now. I will troubleshoot the camera. But yeah, you're ready in the big screen. We can see you and hear you. The floor is all yours. Thank you so much for coming. So guys, you can get started. We can already see and hear you. There you go. Can you hear me?
Yes, yes, I can hear you.
Awesome. So you're already in the screen and you can get started. We can see you in here.
Very nice. Well, everyone can hear me just fine.
Yeah.
Yes. Then, if I share my screen, you guys will be also able to see it.
Yes.
Yes. I will not share it, but first let's start talking. I know it's a big conversation, but let's talk about how stablecoins can help this kind of movement of networks, societies, startup societies, and the likes. Okay. Um, First of all, about me. I'm an entrepreneur and a KOL here in Brazil. I've been in the blockchain movement since the 20s, beginning of the 20s, but I'm a software engineer with a lot more time on the table. I have a master thesis on the Military Institute of Engineering here in Brazil. Been a software developer and a researcher for 20 years with a specialization on distributed computing. I interested on blockchain around the beginning of the 20s. As you just said, I like dropped all of my life to work with blockchain and deal with blockchain technology. And I ended up being one of the authorities here in Brazil as a KOL about blockchain. It's like magic coins and get rich KOL, but a blockchain authority kind of KOL. And I also founded a company which started off as Finance. It's a company that right now operates cross-border transactions using stable coins as a kind of rail to settle international remittances of money. So far, so good, guys. Yes, okay. I got a little bit of lag while I'm watching you guys, but if you're hearing this fine, then it's okay. So, why it is interesting to think about stablecoins and network societies, startup societies, network states, this kind of movement that we are doing here. If we, they seem kind of redundant, but we more often than not, we end up going back to Balaji. And I was taking a look at this article from Balaji, where he starts to lay some of the groundwork for network states. And one of the first definitions that Balaji gets us, right after he states that a network state must have a clear leader, he said it must have an integrated cryptocurrency. It is even I didn't remember that Balaji was so specific about being a cryptocurrency. I recall something about a network state should have its own economic means to trade and to deal with economic aspects of the society. But in this article itself from 2021, it is very, very clear about having an integrated marketplace. Why should we have that? Um, you guys are from all around the globe, but there is a recent, like this kind of news meme that sometimes viralized around the social media. It was about a guy who was trying to withdraw $2,000 from his bank account to buy a motorcycle for his son. It was, if I recall, it was in Europe. I don't remember the country, but he was trying, perhaps Germany. He was trying to withdraw $2,000 from the bank account. He was going to buy like a motorcycle for his son, and the bank didn't want to allow him to withdraw the money. You're going to buy the motorcycle. Well, but where is the receipt? Which is the motorcycle? What is the birth certificate of your son? Like all of this parade of questions and this like all of these step gaps to prevent these guys from withdrawing like $2,000. We're not even talking about
$10 million long in scheme. We talk about slice money, like it's everyday money. So we are living on a time where money is being weaponized as a means to control people. Money is not more only about economy. Money is about politics. It's about how do we enforce behavior on citizens by enforcing monetary policies, tax policies, fiscal policies, stuff like that. So if you're trying to arrange a group of people to achieve sovereignty, and you are trying to do that starting with people that currently are residing side of geographical nation states, then surely if this movement threatens the sovereignty of the nation state itself, it is not going to let that shift. So you must have means to preserve the sovereignty of your movement. And if you are solely operating on the money of the and on the compensation systems, which is more important than money, I'll dive into that a little later. If you are operating under the monetary machine of another sovereign state which you want to detach from, you really have a hard time to try to protect yourself. Because all of the rules around how money can move, how money can be spent, all of these rules will be tailored to handle your efforts. You'll not be able to succeed. So Nutalaji talks about cryptocurrency. The good aspect is that even though we may work with dollars cryptocurrencies or euro cryptocurrencies, we're not talking yet about a network society having its own currency, its own like exchange rate, its own stock market. It could be also in a future where we have giant network systems like that. We're talking about you being able to work with money that is commonly accepted inside of the regions where you're trying to emancipate yourself from, but you are not completely surrendered to their underlying mechanisms of accountability, of accounting, sorry, of accounting and of compensation, of transferring, of how the money is used. If you work with banks, then you are hostage. That is that is true even for people that is not attempting to do anything regarding a sovereign individual or collective emancipation. Talking about a guy that wants to buy a motorcycle for his son, right? He doesn't have any aspirations, political aspirations, great aspirations of any kind. He just wants to buy a motorcycle for his son. And if things are getting hard for this guy, how hard can it get for people that is trying to emancipate, that is trying to be sovereign? It can become really, really hard. So when we talk about stable coins, the good thing is we have permissionless systems. We have systems of accounting in which people can have wallets, so they can have money inside of the wallet, they can pay for stuff, they can receive for stuff, and all of that is operational under a permissionless system, which you just have internet. You don't have like to say anything to any bank or say anything to any government. You just do it. Of course, you have other consequences of that. You can be labeled as an illegal citizen. This can be like deemed that was a terrorist because you are like laundering money, you are debating the fiscal policies, the tax policies, but that's not about economic sovereignty. That is about social sovereignty. It's another discussion. Then we can have layers of protection around that. We can use privacy systems. We can use privacy ledgers. Okay, but even that is sometimes if you only think about that, it's kind of utopic because we can like let us be a network society. We are a group of individuals. We're trying to emancipate ourselves, and we don't want to use bank accounts to promote our economy because we don't want our money to be seized, confiscated, or anything like that. Great. So we all agree that we can pay for each other in stable coins and buy services and goods from each other using stable coins. But regardless, we will need to trade with the foreign societies. We need to trade with we need to do like importation exportation. Nobody here is planting rice, so we need to buy rice so we don't starve. Like where do we get our rice from? Perhaps the seller of the rice is not willing to accept stablecoins as a means of payment. So it is not enough to have a mechanism in which you can resolve the internal aspects of your economy. You must also have the means of conversion to receive money from an outside system and send money to an outside system. That is where we are still reliant on banking rails. That is the kind of stuff my company do. Not trying to promote it to you guys. That's the subject that I'm like getting a hold of. But you must have means to convert the stable coin to fiduciary money into the traditional term we use. It's not a good translation because stable coins are also fiduciary, but you translate like stable coin money to traditional banking money or USDC to USD, and then people can be paid and people can pay you. These rails exist, all right? And it is important that you establish boundaries for the network state as to where you stop using your native cryptocurrency. It's like USDC, we borrowed USDC, or we made our own stable coin, which is pegged by USDC, and we can try to invest that money, get some collective yield for the society. That's also correct. That's, but we must have a boundary where we say how can we translate our money to systems which we need to trade with, be sending or receiving money that do not accept USDT or USDC. This can involve conversions from stablecoin to its underlying fiduciary money, or even it can be about making exchange rates to other currencies. So, in my mind, an ideal setup is these, at least some representatives of the network society should have yet banking accounts and economic setups on the traditional world, but these guys should be, how can you say, protected against exposition so they can help money move in and out. But once money is in, then you can make a wallet and everything that is settled internally can be settled on stablecoins. I think that this is a preliminary and temporary setup because in my mind, for the next 5, 50 years, stablecoins should be broadly acceptable. Like there are places that you go. I don't know if any of you guys went to Paraguay in the last few years or a few months. If you go to Paraguay, you can live completely off USD. You can buy almost anything USD. Like you can eat or if there's something that you cannot buy USD, then you charge a crypto credit card and you use Visa to pay with USD. So I think that is the way to start for those who are starting now, and also keep an eye to a future where we can all rely on stable coins. But I think my time is up. I just wanted to share you guys my insights about how we can use stable coins to converge ourselves, and I hope you really enjoy this exchange like this. Thank you.
Thank you, Gasta. We are going to open for some questions from the audience. Questions. I just want to mention Andre is here from your team, right? And then he's going to be here for most of the month. So maybe you want to also say a few words in that, just introduce yourself. And then we can go for next question. Okay.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
I cannot hear. Thank you.
While they saw that, so my name is Andre. I'm an architect at the city. So I have my company with Casta, which is Weaver. It's not Oxus, but so we do education, communities, marketing for Web3 companies, and we have governance systems that's called Holacracy. I'll do a talk tomorrow on Monday, just after the pitch and the breakfast. So I'll talk more about Holacracy and a cool project we have together with Zcash guys. So I'll be available for everybody to talk. And if you want to interact with Kafka as well.
Hey, guys, now I hear. Yes.
Answering time. So I got Andre to introduce himself while we were fixing. So
Okay.
I'm entertaining the public here. But yeah, we have your first question coming up. Thank you.
Andrea is one of my greatest business partners.
Hello, can you hear me?
Hey man, yeah, sure.
So you just mentioned that you were in Paraguay and you pay everywhere with USDT. I just came back from Paraguay and I haven't seen that anywhere. And I was actually trying to look for it. I was trying to find businesses who would accept crypto or just any regular casa de cambio where they would just at least change my crypto into the local currency or the USDT. Where have you seen that?
Yes, you must not look at the official side of stuff. You need to go a little bit of underground. But if you go to the streets where they sell all of that electronics and like perfumes and stuff, I want to buy like a smartphone or something like that. If you ask the cashier to pay USDT, they will mostly like accept it. And it's not perfect because I don't know why, but they are really like drawn there. It's like very, very bad to use drones to do that, but they use it a lot. But if you want to exchange money, I did that at the street level, okay? Because it's
Which
not
city?
street, yes.
No, which city?
It's Ciudad del Este.
Ah, okay. I was in Asuncion.
Oh no, okay. I'm talking about where like it's a good question that you did. Like it's not like broad acceptance, but where you see it being used, where it hurts the most. All right. So the emergency and the use of disruptive technologies, they tend to be accelerated in the places where they solve the greatest amount of pain. So why that incident the last? Because that is where the most of the trade happens. Lots of people from lots of countries buying and selling stuff, and it's so cheap to join stable coins there and use stable coins that they accept it. Not only stable coins, right? Pix is also prevalent use there. Pix is the Brazilian payment system. Everyone in Paraguay, actually the last is accepting Pix. Like they have phantom accounts in Brazil and you pay them with Pix as if they were Brazilians, but they are not, even though that works. So it's kind of messy, but it's just to showcase that where it is needed and where it can help uh, technology is adopted, even before it is regulated, because you not do that at any of official like exchange house or anything like that.
Thank you very much.
Okay.
Hi, Costa. Regarding the intentional societies, what do you think about a synthetic cryptocurrency regarding that particular environment?
Oh, well,
Instead of just using a stable coin.
sure. It's like a new cryptocurrency or like our own cryptocurrency, something like that.
Precisely.
Precisely. The problem is if you didn't need to trade with foreign parties, it would be easier. But if you are not fully self-sovereignty and you do not have to rely on other economies for food, for energy, for tools, for construction materials, then you could have your own cryptocurrency, really made tailored by yourself. But if you need to buy and sell from the outside is going to have a hard time accepting you're just a new made cryptocurrency. So you would have at least some means of boundaries where you can convert your own currency into the foreign cryptocurrency, which is the one being used to buy and sell stuff and goods. And the problem is it can devalue your synthetic cryptocurrency really fast, really, really fast.
As an economist, I understand this particular view.
Okay.
Yes. Uh, yeah, my question was going to be a little more prone to the technical and your perception on the use of home currency, such like as many crypto projects that have no whatsoever no long-term view or economic perceptions of real usage of their coins. So I'm more like asking you the technical, in your opinion, we don't have a perfect answer, of course. Germany countries that doesn't have any answer about their economic activities and their currency. So that was about it. Thank you.
If I was the leader of this particular network society, and as Balaji says, the leader takes some quite big decisions, what I would do, I would start using USDT, USDC first day one. Start just using stablecoins.
Like,
Yes, just use it. Because the thing here is we are not yet fully organizing. We are not yet like doing anything real. We're just organizing ourselves. So let's just use what currency we have that is the most stable. But once we really start to grow and we really start to have some, let's say, presence and trading and things are happening, then I would shift from using USDT and USDC to using a self-made stablecoin, but that is pegged by USDT and USDC. So kind of like Ondo Finance, where you have USDY, which is an Ondo Finance stablecoin, which is pegged by T-bills, Treasury debt from the United States. So it generates yield. And this would start as a stablecoin that buys up American debt. Well, it can be like American, Chinese, and buy like Treasury bills. Use that as an underlying pegging mechanism for this stablecoin, so it can like preserve its value. And as it evolves, this basket of underlying debt can evolve to basket of goods, land, precious metals, like industrial mechanisms, anything of sort. So I would eventually try to evolve to a cryptocurrency that is can be synthetic, okay, but that it is perfectly aligned with the productive capacity and the wealth of the underlying network state, which is issuing the stablecoin.
thank you very much for your answer.
Okay, I hope you like it.
One more?
Hey, Casta, Jean here.
Yes, hey man.
I'd love to hear your thoughts on. We just had a talk about privacy and stablecoins and some concerns about that. So how are you dealing with this on your project?
Yes. In our project, like Oxus Finance itself, it is a fully regulated project. Like it is, let's adopt all of the banking rules and stuff like that. So in this particular endeavor, there is really no space for let's talk about privacy or self-sovereignty. It is not that I dislike privacy. It is just that this is a project that we've been able to raise funds and to deal. So that's what we have to work right now. But I think that even being a regulated project, of course, like if the authorities come to my door and ask for information about one of my clients, I will have to provide that information. I'll have no choice. But as I'm dealing with stable coins for my clients, that is one thing I cannot do. I cannot confiscate money on the behalf of any authority. Not because I don't want to comply, but because it is impossible. Because the way that we custody money for the clients that are using is like abstracted self-custody. So I literally don't have the mechanisms to comply with freezing assets commands or confiscation commands. We're trying to bring some of the benefits of blockchain in this project, but it's more about bringing speed and lowering the cost of the transaction that to attempting to bring sovereignty. Even though, as I said, when you think about an arrangement, temporary, you must have some people on the border of the network society that are able to comply with the regulation. If not, your money is never coming out of the network state. And in an arrangement, these people that live on the border of the network state, they could use Oxus as a regulated person and just help the money move inside to be used internally as stable coins only, something like that.
Perfect. Thanks, man.
We're gonna do a last one.
Wow, lots of questions. Thank you, guys.
Hey, Costa. So here, I'm wondering, like, in a network state scenario, for me, when I think of stable coins, the first thing that comes to my mind is using your own community currency, local currency, stable based, and having some fee or taxation on top of that. That would be what generates your common treasury, as any society will need its public goods. Do you see any specific stack for stablecoins today that allows that to be done in a easy to implement manner, as not all network societies are going to be stablecoin engineers and ready to develop their own stack? Do you see any that's primed right now for that type of use?
I think you should not right away, okay? But there are some technological stacks that are emerging to facilitate the kind of stablecoin as a service approach, like make your own cryptocurrency with us, no code, just a few clicks. Then you could do something like we make our own stable coin, you must provide a pegging mechanism. Because if you just make a free float coin, it's most probably going to zero. You should make a stable coin that is pegged by something. It can be another stable coin. So you make my USDN network society, which is pegged by a basket of USDT. And on this local cryptocurrency, which is mirrored to USDT, we can have taxation policies that are natively implemented on the stablecoin. If you're not able to do that, what you can do is that everyone agrees to use the same wallet, the same software wallet, and these software wallets on top, the blockchain applies the taxation, but that can be like easily evaded by those who are not good paid actors of the society, and that should happen when it scales. It's really hard to keep selecting individual human beings forever as things grow.
Thank you so much, Costa. Our time is up. We are super excited you join us this year again. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you guys. Next year I'll be there personally.
I'm going to clip that end and I'm going to hold you accountable. Cool, guys. So we're going to move to our last talk before the break. Thank you for hanging on there. I'm going to invite Gustavo Drusa to the stage from Polygon. Thank you for joining us today. Woo! That's her presentation for some reason always showed up in that thing.
Yeah.
Por alguma razão apareceu na tela, cara. Vai ou mais agora?
Se colocar uma maximizada, né?
Uma coisa que é só no.
Or, yeah. I'm going to. My talk is going to be about like I am a security engineer at Polygon, and I'm going to briefly talk about how it is the current status of the AI usage on software engineering in general. From my perspective, as a person who works on a blockchain company that works like on blockchain infrastructure, smart contracts, and everything like that. And also go real quick about the current state of application security, which is my area on Polygon, and how it is on the offensive security. I will go real quick about it, and after that talk, at least a while on a part that I think is pretty concerning or interesting for people here on this conference, that is the sovereignty that we have currently and the technological adaptation that we have for airlines. Okay, nice. The outline is what I said. I will quickly talk about the current state of AI on software engineering for blockchains and security and the sovereignty threat, which what I call it. And after that, I will do like a small, I call it a research agenda, but it's actually just like small things for you to like Google and get quickly on open source LLMs and agents and things like that. So
I am Gustavo. I am a software engineer, security engineer. I worked for some years as a C++ software engineer. Now I work at Polygon. My main interest is on red teaming, offensive security applied to blockchains. And yeah, here I am. How it is currently the AI across the secure software development lifecycle on Web3. So we use AI on requirement decomposition, documentation writing fast POCs, MVPs, test generation, writing almost all the code or all the code, depending on where you work with. There is a lot of pressure today on all the software engineers to like use AI and LLMs to write everything. And they get metrics, they say like, you're not using AI enough. And this is a thing that is happening today. So yeah, AI is everywhere on the software engineering part. Now on my area, that is the application security side of things. There was like a big shift from 6 months ago from today, from the, I think Christmas of last year, they released a bunch of models that were like groundbreaking for everyone. We could see the big difference between what you could code like on the 1st of December and what you can code today with AI. But 6 months ago, on the application security side, we did learning threat modeling, design specs, and new changes, which is like what you do as a security engineer. Static analysis, dynamic analysis, decomposition, and infrastructure analysis on the CI/CD pipeline as much as we could. Security code review for critical changes and new features in products, white box penetration testing, internal and external, bug bounties, and yeah, this is like the part of the application security that we did 6 months ago. It didn't change it. Like we still do everything. But you haven't. It's true.
There we go. I'm back.
We do the same thing. We still have specs, but we use AI to threat model everything. This is from my perspective. This is what I do. Sometimes the engineers don't do specs anymore. On a lot of companies, people like the directors are saying like, don't write specs. We want your rep. And like people vibe code everything and we start breaking it as soon as possible. So there's a lot of places that are currently doing that. And like, yeah, it's weird, but it's how things are happening today. We are using AI to orchestrate everything on the CI/CD pipeline. We still use static analyzers, dynamic analyzers, but there is a lot of tools that we are noticing today that are quite expensive, and some agents are doing like a better job than a lot of static analyzers did before. And security code review with AI. Like we have a bunch of agents, 10 more agents doing security code review and assisted by humans, but sometimes not assisted by humans. And when we see like that the AI missed something, we just improve the harness until we find it every time. And we keep enhancing this. So the security code review is getting cheaper and faster as well. And the white box pen testing, same thing. Like we are having swarms of agents every day, pen testing every application, and this is the current state of AI. And it's doing a pretty good job. On the bug bounty part, the researchers are also using AI everywhere. They are reporting a lot of things with AI, and we, as security engineers, are creating all the bug bounty reports with AI as well. But on the offensive security part, we have a lot of LLMs toolkits today that, like from the past months, are completely compromising networks, like doing real red team operations compromising dozens of hosts, and there is some benchmarks and other things about it. But the concerning parts on the red team part and the vulnerability research part is that on the previous months, a lot of LLMs found real browser security bugs, which for those who doesn't know, like a browser is as complex as an operational system and is like really, really, really hard to do security research and find real vulnerabilities on that. And the LLMs are doing it today. 52 browser vulnerabilities found in the last 2 weeks, and these are real numbers that are from March. On February, we got 63 new vulnerabilities registered. These are real and valid vulnerabilities. On February, we got 191, and in March, we got 6,000 more vulnerabilities reported, but not AI is not vulnerabilities or AI is not reports. These are real vulnerabilities, real reports for open source projects, for browsers, for operational systems. Those are real, registered, and are still, most of them are still in patches today. So the most scalable or like most advanced LLMs are not just auditing code, but they are also reverse engineering binaries and doing, the reverse engineering part was really hard to do years ago as a human. It's still hard, but like code source can't protect you today because LLM can just reverse engineer your binary and get your code. And yeah, there's Cloud Mythos now. Like this March is before Cloud Mythos, which is the new frontier model that Anthropic is doing a fuss about, and they are not publicly releasing it because they say that it's too dangerous. You can check on red.anthropic.com, like the new research on red teaming and everything that they are doing today. And yeah, on Web3, it hits really hard. We have consensus client nodes, we have like SDKs, Rust, Go, C, C++, TypeScript, everything. Like it's really hitting really hard. Today, it will hit harder on the future. But what sovereignty have to do with all of that? Technological centralization is not something that we thought about today, is not something new. We have like almost every servers on the internet running on AWS, GCP, and like big tech corporations. Supply chains, we have a lot of like chips, like I don't know, everything from the software to the hardware is currently centralized mostly. And now we're getting even more attached, and we are falling even more on this sovereignty trap because we are centralizing like on OpenAI, on Anthropic, through Gemini, and I don't know, I think most of you, from my perspective as well, like my company uses Claude and Codex like everywhere. It's because it's the most advanced LLMs. Like, why wouldn't you use the most advanced LLMs today? Like, from this perspective, like you kind of need to use it because if you don't, you're going to fall behind. But we are centralized even more on these big techs, on these big labs that are doing like really good research on LLMs, well funded, but they are like all from the same country. They are all big tech. And also Grok, but no one uses Grok. If you don't solve this, we are just going to centralize everything on APIs. Like it doesn't matter if we are using like the most decentralized blockchain and everything, and we are like tunneling everything through this LLM that is centralized on Anthropic. And if it falls down or if they get censored or if the US wants to control them, like they're going to mess up with everyone. So this is why the proposal here is to make agents and like your system design for LLMs to be agnostic of LLMs, not get attached to cloud or Codex or something like that. And use out what works today. Like I'm not saying don't use cloud, don't use Codex, because use what is best for your company, what is best for your project, what's going to get the best results for you, because like it's better for you. And sandbox everything, get the least privilege that you can for your agents. Please don't plug your systems. Oh no, don't plug your systems and everything to one agent and give permissions to do like everything. It's going to mess you someday, and it's also another attack vector. Like you don't know what's being processed by that LLM. You don't know which library it's going to use. Like it can get messy. And but builds towards functionality, like have your systems designed today on a way that you can use the most you can of Opus 4.6, but also in the future you can just switch one thing and use, I don't know, Gen 4 or any open source model. And separate memories, like segregate everything that you can. Don't get it too attached. And also less privilege every time. So this is the research proposal, and I'm going to just give names and things for you to do research with LLM and agents. There is an amazing agent that is called Hermes. It's kind of alternative to OpenClaw, but I think it's better than OpenClaw, and it's done by the Nouns Research Group. They are a really good research group that does open source research for LLMs. The Hermes agent is easy to use and it's amazing. Gemma 4 Quint 3.5 are two open source models that were released like last week or so. You can run both of them on your laptop, depending on the laptop that you have. But it's quite lightweight. It's easy to run, and it performs almost as Sonnet 3.6. At least the Quen 3.5. It's pretty good. Just run it, like host them. Suppose on your computer, on your cloud machines. If you have a machine on your work that the company is paying for you, just try the new models. There's like absolutely no reason to not try it. And use them for dumb tasks. Like if there is some task that just processes texts or does some dumb task managing your anything that you would use Sonnet for or a cheaper model, you can use like almost free model where you can pay just for the machine. And this will get you like better muscle memory to try new things as well. And yeah, the frontier models are better today. Use them. But on the future, the open source models are going to get better and better. And hopefully they are going to like keep the same level as the closed source ones. And yeah, build your stack, self-host, and let's get things better and more sovereign. Thank you.
Hey guys, we're gonna do some questions. My favorite part.
Hi, I'm not in the AI area at all, but I watched a panel on CNN International early this week about the cloud mythos. And what the host said is that Anthropic holder helped the launch and share them with the big techs because he said that it did hack every system, government, non-government, and even debug them. Found bugs, and said that it was too dangerous, and that is the reason. So one of the panelists said, kind of a call for a kind of a international atomic agent similar to AI, and kind of a EOG, US and China, and to work on this right now. So you mentioned Vito's there, so you are in the area. So what is this really about? Because I was scared. It did hack everything in the world. So what the panel said, imagine this in the hands of a company or a government, and it's about and it's supposed to go to the market. So imagine what could happen.
Yeah. You should be scared, maybe. Like, I believe I think the model 4 point something or 3.5.3, one of the older models from OpenAI, yeah, they say the same thing, like they delayed the release because it was too dangerous as well. I think every new model is getting more dangerous if they fall on like the wrong hands or something like that. And that's the thing, like finding vulnerabilities is a tedious task that requires a lot of effort, like sitting your butt for hours and weeks and months to find a vulnerability. And the AI can now do most of the work real quick. So yeah, Mythos is for real finding all the vulnerabilities they say that they are finding. Uh, it is kind of dangerous. Do that. I do this every day at work. Like I get a new model and I run through everything to try to find all the vulnerabilities on my systems before other people do. And I find some stuff. So uh, it is concerning. We should be kind of concerned, but this is the way that software worked like for this years as well. Like there was new tools that found a lot of stuff. A lot of people got exploited, got hacked. It always happens. Now it's happening on a kind of larger scale with lower entry points for people that are not that skilled. But yeah, it's all that. It's real, and we as a whole. So we prepare for if someone gets hacked or if a lot of people gets hacked, the harm is not done or is not like the highest harm that they can do. So I would say maybe have this kind of mindset. If you like assume that your phone is going to be hacked and ask yourself like if this app gets hacked, what can I do to protect that? Two-factor authentication is one thing. Maybe having like your assets on more than one place, having multi-sig wallets for projects. Like if you're talking about personal security, it's one thing. If we are talking about projects, you need to use multi-sig for everything. Like you can't rely on one single private key because it's going to be hacked and it's going to wreck all your projects.
Can you explain what multi-sig is?
Yeah, it's like when you have one wallet, you have one key to sign your transactions. You can have one wallet that needs multiple keys to sign a transaction for that to happen. So you can have like multiple people with multiple keys, or you can have like one key on your computer, one key on your card, or like written somewhere or things like that. So this is a multi-sig. Like you can't, if one key gets compromised, it doesn't do like the same harm because they can sign transaction with your one key that conflict.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Gustavo.
Thank you.
Who likes coffee? Okay, guys, so we're gonna take a coffee break for 15 minutes. Serve outside, and we're gonna be back at 11:45. So I'm gonna give you guys 20 minutes. Stretch, enjoy, and I see you back here soon. Let's play some music.
You send me a presentation. Yeah. Yeah. Fine. Okay, that's good. That's good. Fine. Okay. Yeah.
Obrigada.
So, okay. Take a look at the just open on the front try. Start okay, you can download maybe. Yes. Yeah, like if you roll with the browser, like good. Yeah, one. That's fine. That's not you. Okay. Good. What do you like? No, was this twice. Can I send you the senator? Do I get the clicker? Okay, I have a clicker. Yeah, I should. Let me send that. To myself. See the Wi-Fi. I'll check my first. I'm not first. Just right there now. What can I do to the run up with? Wow. Sure. That's for my system. So I still can do our 2020 first. So another talk. That's every 24 hours before. So split off 24 hours, 10,000.
You know, like.
Thank you, say this first. Good, so let's share. And I got just interesting. Oh, well,
We get my idea, right?
I can hear it. I don't know that's how
There's or make an exception. And then after like yeah. It's actually gonna be until 5 p.m. 2 to 5.
Nice.
Like a 3 hour lunch. And then I don't know, the guys are probably
Yeah, I'll set this one up.
I'm
It's on a different day, but it's the same.
going to live.
Let me see that.
I'll see you on Monday. Exactly.
There's a video on the side. So
I think it's
it's also the presentation. So you can just one.
so you just talk.
Just want to see the highlights of the rest.
Exactly. That's perfectly why I wouldn't put anything with it. Look at them today. Go enjoy. Why am I going so? It's the same part.
Yes.
Yeah. It was very good. So sorry for all the parts.
What's the process?
Yeah, we're going to
So can you use my phone? Can you do the slides?
Yes.
Okay. Okay.
That's for my
Yeah. So as I spring video is over some process.
Yeah. Let's do Tá. Tá, né?
Se você quer criar um app, mas não faz ideia de como programar ou por onde começar, conheça a
Enemy battleship sunk. Enemy submarine spotted. Attention, reporting the target position.
Hello. There you go. Are we ready for our last section of the Startup Society Conference? I'm kind of missing Eduardo today to do some dance moves. Does anyone want to fill in? Should I try it? Let's try it. Everybody stand up. Let's do it, guys. Get up. Especially you, just because you're a non-stayer, now you're going to come on stage with me. Okay, so get up before I call you in. You can stay down there. So, vamos jogar uma música? Uma música. Everybody gets hands up. Do you guys remember how we did it yesterday? I think it was just like big stretch. Gui, come up here. You're good, you're good. We're gonna follow what Gui says. Segue o mestre. Como que fala isso em inglês? There is a game like that. Follow the boss. Okay, so what do we do, Gui? Do some stretch. You're the yoga guy. This guy is like a Buddha. Stretch. There you go. Just a few stretch moves. Breathe through your nose.
So it's a breathwork session? Yeah. Everybody ate? Let's go, people. Let's go. Yeah, that's it. Yeah.
My heart's racing. I like it. I like it. So guys, we're back. We just want to wake you guys up so you don't fall asleep. Our next talk is very special. Last year, who was at IP City last year? Only one? The OG of IP is right here. Not even Gio was there? Of course Gio was there. Okay, so last year, we built most of our city app. Wait, I think we're gonna invert the speakers. Sorry, guys. We have some last minute invert. Okay, so let's put Josh on. Okay. Is he live? Vamos jogar o online antes. Okay, so I love this. It's like a stand-up comedy over here. I should try stand-up comedy one day. I might be good at it. Okay, so we're gonna have our guests. We had switch it, now we're switching back on. So we're gonna have Josh, and I shouldn't try this, but sweetheart. A chat with the founder and CEO of Zoro. Is that how I say it? The main Zcash app. Ooh, fancy. So yeah, I'm looking forward to hear from Josh online, so he can share with us a little bit about his journey as a founder building Zcash app. Josh, can you hear us? Okay, so Maybe you can do a little stand-up comedy for 2 minutes. Jesus, 7 minutes. I can't do stand-up comedy for 7 minutes. That is too much. Should we talk about what Zcash is for a few seconds? In Portuguese. Em português, em português. Yeah, so who knows what Zcash is? Okay, so you have a bright new audience. Come up here. Introduce yourself and tell me what Zcash is.
Hello, everyone. My name is Michael. I'm the leader of Zcash in Brazil since 2022. So I have built the Zcash community globally and like it's been for many countries. And yeah, Zcash is the pioneer of zero knowledge proof, like a tech who preserve your privacy as individual and for enterprise as well. So they use ZK snark, so it's type of zero knowledge proof. So there's many other types, and yeah, Zcash has like 9 years, almost 10 years of running right now, and like the privacy narrative and AI and everything. So that's came to reality, like this narrative, and people like are discovering why privacy is very important for us as individual, society, and like nation. Like for example, big mine of US, and they are mining Zcash right now, just BTC before, but they are looking in you mining Zcash, so that's a turn for national protect stuff, geopolitical stuff. So it's more than just technology to you, you know, like so everyone is looking for more privacy, and yeah, is feel free to join our community. We have Discord and every platform. So if you have any question, you can like looking for me and I can ask.
Awesome. And the app we're gonna hear about it. Stay here. Stay here. Yeah. The app we're gonna hear about it right now. It's an application built on Zcash. Give us a few examples of other cool things people that you see are building with Zcash. So I think IP architects can have a little bit more of an idea of what it's working, what are people using it for.
Yeah, I forget to mention that Zcash is like optional stuff. So they are burning like transparent, but you can have like and private stuff. So it's called shielded pool. So people use this for like make transaction, but everything is private in the blockchain. You only get the hash rate. So different than Bitcoin or another stuff and or crypto that Zcash and the Zoro app, like the wallet of Zcash, you can send the memo, encrypted memo, so you can send message and write like text and together with this transaction. So only the people or the company you are sent to can see that. So that's very cool stuff because solve big problem for business to person because Bitcoin just solve the P2P and then Zcash with this memo can solve the problem. Like I can pay you in Zcash and write like your salary of January, so just you can see that. So it's everything is private. So there's many of cases like for donation, for like um I don't know, everything you can use like for private stuff you can build, but Zcash is not smart contract. It's like native blockchain, so it's a bit hard to build in, but they are developing like ZSA right now to expand Zcash, like for other blockchains and stuff. Like Dash is, I think it's open.
Yeah, awesome. Thank you so much for joining us on stage and sharing a little bit about Zcash. Hi, Josh. Let's give a round of applause. Awesome. Josh, can you hear us? Where can I see you? Let me see. Can you hear us, Josh?
Yes, I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Awesome. Welcome to this. Let me see if I can see you. Which side do I go, guys? Guide me. Okay, there you go. Hi there, I'm Paloma. We are here at the Startup Society Conference. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thanks for having me.
Cool. So we just had a very short introduction about Zcash while we were connecting you, but the floor is all yours. We can see you in the big screen. And then I'm gonna pass the microphone so Gia can start with the interviews right here.
Amazing. Hey, Josh, here. Thanks for coming.
Hey, how are you doing?
Thanks for taking the time. It's fun of your work, with the cash ecosystem, Zoro. So just to get started, I love to hear how did you end up working with Zcash, a brief of your history, and yeah, just to introduce yourself.
Sure. Yeah, so I'm CEO of Zottle. I've been working on Zcash full time since 2018. I would join the community before it launched. So I found the founding team back in 2016, and Suko, who was leading this team to launch Zcash. Then I reached out and wanted to be a part of the project. I've long been an entrepreneur and had some experience actually with issues related to not having privacy. So I managed a program that was an intelligence system for a government for a while. In that intelligence system, we were gathering data not on people, but on other countries. But my architect and I launched a business where we did start aggregating data on people. It was ad tech or marketing technology, and we got to see how much people were exposing. We shut that business down. We shut that program down because it got too invasive in terms of people's privacy. We were able to tell where people lived, who their kids were, where they liked to travel, what style of travel, how much money they made, even to the point of were they good at their job. We could infer that kind of information based on certain probabilities. And so when I fell down the crypto rabbit hole, I recognized pretty quickly that privacy is a massive problem. So we not only can aggregate all these people's data across all these different data sources, social media sites, private data sources, and things like that, but now people were exposing all of their financial data on a public database for everybody to see for all time. It can never be erased, and they can associate that data with all of the rest of the data about you that's exposed. And so I went looking for a project where privacy would be protected, and got introduced to Zcash that way. So when that happened, then decided that I had a personal situation where I was trying to send money overseas to a friend who was unbanked, and they kind of shut me down. I couldn't, it was through Western Union, and Western Union wouldn't let me send the funds. I wasn't sure why. Thought crypto should solve this, but we have to solve this privacy problem. And I started knocking on the door of the Zcash team to let me come work with them. Joined then to run everything external. So I handled regulatory relations, communications, that kind of stuff. And then eventually took over as the CEO of ECC in late 2023. And then we spun that out as Zottle, same team, different name, in January of this year.
It's really, really, really interesting. So we are here in a
Startup Society Network State Conference. So we are trying to figure out how to improve the privacy of the systems, payments, voting, and this kind of things. So I'd love to hear like your thoughts on the importance of privacy in a philosophical and technological way for network states, and also when we'll be able to move to the cash network states.
I don't know about moving, but no, it's amazing what you're doing. You know, like it's pretty cool. After I know biology, you know, and have been out to network state or network school just outside of Singapore. They've built, he's built an amazing thing there. It's pretty cool. You guys are doing that there as well. So yeah, privacy philosophically, there's like practically and there's philosophically. So philosophically, we as humans like aren't meant to live our lives in a fishbowl, meaning in a public sphere for everybody to see every action that we ever do, and that they can see it not only today, but they can see it in the future and associate that with every other action. We're just not meant to live that way. The cognitive load is way too high, and fundamentally it just changes our behavior. You know, I use a story about dancing with my daughter. So when my daughter was younger, she just turned 17, but when she was younger, we used to dance in the living room in our house. Like I would, after work, I'd turn on some music after dinner, and we'd just goof around and laugh and things like that. And you know, I never like had my curtains open or things like that where people would walk by and be able to peer in to see us dance. If we would, it would have changed. And then it was like a few months ago, one of my other kids got married, and everybody was dancing. I was trying to get my daughter to dance with me and be squirrely like she always had been, and she wouldn't do it. She wouldn't get out there. And the reason she wouldn't get out there is because she was nervous, because everybody was watching, because everybody could see her. It just changed her behavior. And so whatever society, whether we're in a small community or whether we're living online digitally, if we don't have privacy, it changes just fundamentally who we are as humans. So philosophically, that's the case. And then just practically speaking, it's not safe, right? If you have your financial information out there for everybody to see, it's a problem for your personal security. It's a problem for personal security. It's a problem for businesses, for business security, and it's a problem for nations or communities. It becomes a national security issue.
Yeah, absolutely. And talking about Zoro now, we are seeing like these trends going like crazy, like privacy is going sexy again, I think. So you just raised 25 million for Zoro. What this tells about the moment that we are facing now is like privacy is hot again. We are in a new trend, a positive trend. What's your thoughts on that?
You know, the whole thing started with privacy. So, and so when you say it again, like it never left for some of us that have been around for a long time, right? So the idea with Bitcoin was there's private peer-to-peer cash. We'd have this like digital money system, and Satoshi thought the pseudonymity would be enough. And famously quipped that if he could figure out how to use zero-knowledge cryptography with Bitcoin, he would. But the cryptography was too novel. It just didn't work. But that was the idea. Like it goes back to the cypherpunks, and the cypherpunks were building these, this system. This was so most of our, if you think about like most of history, just until just very recently, was lived outside of the internet. They had like the internet didn't exist until the World Wide Web didn't even happen until the 90s or something like that. So as we like moved more and more of our lives in this digital space, where everything came to be exposed and we're instantly connected to all of this information, the world changed. And at first it was like all open. So anybody could see anything. And so even if you were going to use a commerce site, you couldn't put in credit card information because that information could be sniffed. Somebody could steal it. So we had to have encryption, but governments tried to fight it. You know, the US government considered it a munition. It was arms. And they restricted what you could, the kind of encryption or how strong the encryption could be. They restricted it from being shipped out of the country. So like I remember Microsoft software, like with Microsoft Excel or Microsoft Access, for some of that software, there was a version that you had in the US and there was a version that everybody else had in the world that had weaker encryption so that they could break it. So the cypherpunks, very kind of prescient or forward-looking, said like we need privacy in a digital space, and we're going to build it. It needs to. We need to be able to ship it into products. It needs to live. It's necessary for the internet. It's necessary for digital money. If you look at what's called the Cypherpunk Manifesto, you can Google it and read it. And that's where Bitcoin came out of. But it didn't completely solve it because it didn't have the right, there wasn't the right cryptography, wasn't available. So then a group of scientists from Johns Hopkins, MIT, some of the most brilliant scientists in the world, went to solve the problem for Bitcoin. They made zero-knowledge cryptography work for Bitcoin, but the Bitcoin core team said it's too novel. We all know how slow the Bitcoin core team works, and they said it's too risky. Try it on something else. And so they forked Bitcoin and they added zero-knowledge cryptography, and that's Zcash. And then over time, we've made it more and more performant. So it's not for me, like for most of the world, maybe it's becoming sexy again. Like it's always been the reason I've been here. Like I'm not here for meme coins. I'm not here for all that stuff. It's fun, whatever. But the reason that we're doing this is because we have to have encryption for money in a digital world. For all these reasons we talked about. It's imperative, it's necessary. If we don't have it, it's complete dystopia. Like we're all fucked, we're all screwed, excuse me. So we need to have the, it's like the mission, we've never wavered on the mission. I think it's more and more with things that are happening geopolitically, with more and more surveillance that's occurring, with the capture of even like Bitcoin, like we saw with Canadian truckers, we've seen it in other places. Bitcoin can be frozen, Tether can be frozen, all these different kinds of tools that we need access to a system that allows us to opt out to those things. More and more people are saying like, I'm gonna choose to opt out, not completely, but like Naval famously, I think, tweeted about late last year. He said, you know, Bitcoin is a hedge against the US dollar. Zcash is a hedge against Bitcoin. And so this kind of idea is I'm going to take a portion, even if I'm a believer in Bitcoin, I'm going to take a portion, I'm going to store it privately in ZEC. And then we've seen just the adoption of the use take off. So finally we have tools like Zottle that are easy to use. It didn't exist before. It was very difficult to use. And we're kind of seeing the adoption. We added things like swaps. Like just since October, it's over $600 million of swaps just through the currency wallet, which is pretty amazing. So people are buying it, they're using it though, which is pretty cool.
Yeah, it's really, really cool. I have to say that I was not very close to Zcash or Zcash community a few months ago. And since then, I have connected with many people, and it's kind of, it's a different community, it's different vibes. People are so engaged, so we put the checkout Zcash on the websites to the tickets, and many people actually bought, and the money went direct to Zotto, my wallet. So that was like a very, very nice experience to have, and the community is really, really engaged. Like I was impressed to see like all yellow avatars and messaging and engaging and coordinating, helping us to organize. So I'm here with Michael. Michael is the leader of Zcash Brazil. I will let him introduce himself.
Hey Josh, Michael here. We meet already in Barcelona, so you know.
Yeah, it's great to see you.
Yeah. So I haven't a question, but before it's great to have you here participating in the conference, even online. because there are a lot of people interested in privacy and Zcash. So this way they can learn more about Zcash. So thank you for accept that. So my question is about the mining in US, like Foundry just announced like they are mining Zcash right now. So there's some news can drop tomorrow. So how do you see like the Zcash mining moving in the US, like in the in the general, like it's not just beside Bitcoin, they have only Bitcoin, but now they are mining Zcash, the only coin after Bitcoin. So what you can see, like it's positive, like demand you rise right now.
Yeah, it's really positive. So, historically, you're kind of familiar, Zcash is since it's a code fork of Bitcoin, it's a proof of work chain. UTXO model is very similar. So, and most of the miners are in China. And I would say most of the miners, like, it's fine. Like, it's, buy a BTC and Ampool and Luxor, and there's some others. They would mine, but they didn't necessarily have strong conviction about Zcash. They were there just to mine, to provide a service for money, and then they'd sell their Zcash, right? And so, which is fine, but Foundry is different. And Foundry is part of DCG, Digital Currency Group. Digital Currency Group is a heavy investor in Zcash and Zcash related projects. They also own Grayscale. Grayscale, there's another investment product for Zcash. Barry, we'll actually just see here in a couple weeks. So Barry is a big Zcash fan and believer, Barry Silbert. He talks about it all the time. And so Foundry is under that. If you're not familiar, like as you mentioned, Michael, Foundry is like the largest. They don't advertise their hash power, but I think they're the largest, or one of the largest Bitcoin miners in the world. And they've only done Bitcoin since their inception years and years ago. So Zcash is now their second one, and they're bringing all of this hash power into the US. It's important for, I think, decentralization of mining in order to split that hash power up, and also to split it up geographically, so that we don't have mining concentration all in China. But I think it's just big signal that large players are making massive capital investments on very large scale in order to support this project.
That's cool. I met just yesterday like a Russian guy that mining Zcash in Russia. So he is living in Brazil now. So he is really interested to mining Zcash in Brazil. So let's see.
That's awesome. It would be great to have more miners in Brazil.
Thank you.
So a very specific questions about, so we are seeing some FUD around quantum risk. So I think we are kind of, Zcash is priced in this, maybe Bitcoin not that much. So what's your thought on Zcash in the protection of quantum?
Yeah, there's kind of two issues. So yeah, one, so Google releases part of the FUD is Google released and another organization released information indicating that quantum computers could be here as early as 2029, and that puts it's not just Bitcoin or Zcash at risk, but it puts a lot of compute at risk globally as it relates to encryption, the ability to break encryption. The Google paper lists Zcash a few times in there, just in terms of both what's good and what we're working on. So they're positive references. Bitcoin has a harder path to get to quantum resistance. What that would mean would be effectively that the keys would not be safe, and somebody could steal your Bitcoin. They could take Satoshi's Bitcoin. So a lot of if they don't get that kind of resolved, and Bitcoin core is classically slow. So they thought they had more time, they have less time. So I do believe people tend to, when there's something really important, they tend to rally and figure out how to get things done. Whether they can pull this off, I don't know. Zcash is in a different kind of camp. So there's quantum as it relates to privacy, and there's quantum as it relates to soundness with Zcash. So I can talk about what that means. And then there's like some of these different levers. So the thing that will be done this year, like the thing that already exists, is if you don't share your Zcash shielded address, we've got stuff stored with anybody else. Like quantum computers can't find it, right? So if they can find an address that uses something that's called elliptic curve cryptography, they can effectively figure out the key to unlock that. If the shielded address is not visible to a quantum computer, there's nothing to attack. So that's there. But there's other vectors, like people share their address because they want to get paid. And that's the same address where they store their funds. And so there's some tricks, like you can get paid and then store it in a separate address that only you know, and some other things like that. But and then transparent addresses are just like Bitcoin. So there is a notion of a transparent address within Zcash that works just like Bitcoin and has the same vulnerabilities. So first thing that's happening is something called quantum resistance. And quantum resistance can happen actually at a wallet level, and it's being baked into everything this calendar year. And so what that means is that if a quantum computer suddenly comes online and you've got your Zcash stored in what's called the Orchard shielded pool, you can quickly move it. It can be moved out to a quantum safe cryptography very simply. So it just makes it resilient in case something happens. Then you can move quickly. The other is like full up quantum, post quantum. And there's a series of upgrades that will happen probably over the next 12 to 18 months, right? Still got to go through this kind of engineering process and things like that. We know what to do. Part of the problem is there's something called, the quantum safe addresses right now are just very large, like 1 to 2 kilobytes, and you don't want that on chain. And so you've got to create some kind of novel cryptographic mechanisms for managing that side of address. There's some solutions that actually I was meeting with Sean Bowe and Dev this week, who are both engineers and brilliant cryptographers working on this problem. And there's a path to kind of solve all of these things, and I think it will all be solved in the next 12 to 18 months for Zcash. One thing that the Zcash community has, while it's decentralized, the various organizations that are working on core protocol all get along today, and we're working and kind of all pulling in the same direction. And so, I think for Zcash, 12 to 18 months, and we'll be post quantum.
Yes, I think another question I have, it's about the AI stuff and security of the protocol. I don't know if you saw that the website and system that I have created this weekend, or like the bounty zcash.org. So we got like 5 submissions right now. So it's kind of crazy, but it's good. It's cool stuff because you can spin like really quickly and fix that. I don't know if Jason from Should Lab sent to you something. So how you see like the Anthropic stuff, the videos and AI testing every system right now to get system racket to get money. Like, how Zcash?
Yeah, so we're in a really interesting time. So people are starting to use AI tools, even with Opus. Being able to use with Claude, that model, being able to use to find bugs, various kind of vulnerabilities in systems everywhere. And I think everybody's kind of dealing with the influx of bug reports. Some things aren't so serious, and some things are more serious. And so, and sometimes it's just part of the difficulty is figuring out how to use AI to effectively determine how real the issue is. So it's you have all this kind of AI input coming in terms of potential issues, and then you've got to use AI to kind of sort through it. to figure out, how you prioritize this volume of information coming in. So that is happening, and then you add like this middle thing. So like with Anthropic, once that gets out into the wild, I mean, they're nervous about it enough that they're not willing to release it, and they've been willing to release all kinds of stuff. So we'll see. But it's important that we use these same tools to kind of test ourselves and that we get on top of it. You're doing the bug bounty program, which I think is great. This stuff needs to be hardened. It's like there's a rip off the Band-Aid kind of thing. Part of the challenge in it is dependencies in code. So it's not just the code for a given project, but open source projects use other libraries from other open source projects that use other libraries from other open source projects. And so sometimes your worry is not about the old code that you built, but what somebody else built that you don't even control that repo. And so understanding what the dependency chain, what the supply chain looks like, and making sure that everything is hardened. We've got a lot to do, and yeah. So it's like you hate getting bug reports.
I'm the founder, and I'm also the proud president of the Yodel Association Switzerland. Switzerland, we are known for masters at yodeling. We're also masters at making chocolates. So I brought some Swiss chocolates all the way from Switzerland for you. This one I've been educated, you already know, over Maltine. That's what all the kids are eating. Destroys your teeth, but it's quite addictive, so grab a few. This one is chocolates. You probably can't get that here. It's with the Swiss schnapps, so there's alcohol inside. Also quite addictive. Some more for the crowd here. And there you go. You can share, just share. Sharing is caring.
Open up and pass around.
Exactly. It's like the Swiss version of that dance that we did before. So what we're building at Yodel is sort of a decentralized payment protocol. And this talk is about sort of our journey towards how we came from a simple app and how we're building towards a decentralized payment system. Now, in simple words, what we're doing is making every local payment QR code payable with any token on any chain from any wallet. The goal is really that you can pay with your crypto tokens in the local QR code systems, like here in PIX in Brazil, Vietnam, a similar thing, without worrying about all the blockchain stuff. Now, these QR codes, they're available worldwide. Lots of countries in Latin, Southeast Asia, and selected markets in Europe have these QR codes where you can pay. They work similar fashion as PIX. And that's pretty much our goal, is to build a new payment rails on top of these local systems so we can compete with Visa and MasterCard. Now we're live in 4 countries right now. That is Brazil with Pix, Argentina, Mercado Pago, Vietnam QR code, Philippines. And we've got pilots live for most of the rest of Asia and few select markets in Europe. Now next is a video how it works. You probably know Pix. This is the Swiss version. It's a pilot. It's not public. It's a sandbox for us. And I'm going to the Swiss shop to buy some cookies. And I basically use the old app and scan the local QR code. And the trick here is I'm paying with a random stable coin, like a DeFi, decentralized stable coin that is not USDC or Tether, and it just automatically works. Everything in the back swaps into what the processor wants. So and it makes me, the merchant doesn't have to do anything. They don't know that I paid with crypto. They didn't have to do anything technically. It just works out of the box. Now, the way it works is, as a user, you download the app. There is a built-in wallet, a crypto wallet. You can top it up with stable coins or any token. Then you scan the local QR code, you pay, done. And the merchant receives the money directly in his bank account. So he never touches crypto. He doesn't know crypto was involved. It's being converted directly during the payment. So that's why you can go and pay at any Pix QR code with this app. You don't have to ask the merchant, does he accept crypto? It just works naturally, like with the regular banking app. The way it works under the hood is in the app, once you scan the local QR code, this is being sent to a local payment service provider who will then return a quote, how much in USDC or Tether you have to pay so you can authorize the payment. Once you authorize and confirm, these stablecoins are sent directly to the payment service provider, who then exchanges it into the local fiat currency and sends it forward to the merchant. Now this makes it very easy because then you don't have to worry about that stuff anymore, about currencies, tokens, and so on. You simply scan and pay. Now there is a little problem with this approach, and that is it's not very decentralized. While the payment itself happens on-chain, non-custodial, there's no counterparty risk, you never hold your assets or tokens at any time and point. We still have a YODL app that it's on the App Store. Apple can block it. They can remove it and so on. We're not in control. The same with Google Play Store. Once they do, there's nothing we can do. On the other side, we also have the local payment processor. They can block individual users, they can block us completely, or they can be blocked by the government. So what do we do then? We cannot keep paying. So these are single point of failures that we have to address. And that's one of the key points of this decentralization is make the system in total better and more reliable. Complicated slide. On the left, you see the YODL app, and the way we approach the decentralization here is by extracting all the payment functionality and put it into an SDK that other wallets can integrate and let their users pay directly with the tokens they already have in their wallets. So that's also a key issue, is that there is not a single app that requires, but there's multiple apps, multiple clients that can do it. And it helps that people are not reliant on us, YODL, as in order to pay. There's no vendor lock-in. We can simply walk away and the system in total keeps on working. Now that you have solved that, the user part, we have the second issue is that the processor, if you only have one processor in a country and they stop working for whatever reason, people won't be able to pay. If there's a failure, also, people won't be able to pay. Plus, there is no competition. They can set any fee and any bad FX code, and we cannot improve that. There's a simple solution. Simply add multiple processors. So we have that in Vietnam, and results were quite good. Fees went down for everybody because once we send a quote, we do not send it to a single one, but to all the processors and give you the best quote that you get from them. It also adds other interesting stuff, such as doesn't need KYC, but just want to onboard to try it out. It works quickly. You're onboarded in 30 seconds and you're ready to pay. That's also how we do it right now in Brazil. But then there's the other option. Once you KYC, you got higher limits and the best FX quotes available. So that's a great thing. And in Brazil, we're adding our second processor. It'll be live in the app next week, and you can benefit from that. There is, however, an issue with that, and that is that all these payment service providers, they accept different tokens and different chains. So it's a big UX nightmare for the users. They have to know what tokens is payable at this processor. It's super confusing. And to fix that, we added another layer that says, whatever token you have, you're able to pay. We basically get in the background, we swap your tokens that you want to pay with into what the receiver wants, the processor, without you noticing. It's just one-click payment, one-click swap and pay. Now, there's a lot of technical stuff here. If you want to talk about technical stuff, I'm happy to talk later. But the key point here is, with that technology, we expanded. And we have now on the roadmap, our next thing is a privacy section, where instead of swapping, you can actually start paying privately with privacy pools like Bermuda Bay, Railgun, or privacy pools. Instead of swapping, you simply take money from your privacy pool to fund the payment, and with that, it can give you on-chain privacy with the payments. And it's interesting, it works in a very similar way as the swaps. As the swap and pay, all one click, and it's completely transparent for the user. He doesn't have to worry about all the tech. That's basically it. People have lots of questions, so yeah.
Just the limit, there's a limit, like to pay like
Yeah, so right now in PIX in Brazil, the limit is if you don't verify your identity, it's $200 per transaction, $500 worth of payments per day, and $5,000 worth of payments in a month. Once you have verified the identity, then the limits are much higher. I don't know by heart, but almost, yeah, you can pay as much as you want.
Hi, I have a similar question. I can use the app if I am from Spain, I don't know, China, different countries, or I don't know how it is the
yeah, so right now
you're
live. We're currently live in Vietnam, Philippines, Argentina, and Brazil. We soon have Thailand, Indonesia, Bali live as well, and we have a pilot live that brings us to India, Asia, Hong Kong, and so on, Japan.
Okay,
but this is not live yet. This is coming.
Perfect. And you sell the technology for integrate for another platform, or it's only an app?
Yeah. So right now we start with just an app, and there's issues, as I said about it's not ideal. So we distribute our technology and our network to other wallets that want that payment through an SDK. So then you will be able to pay directly. Let's say MetaMask integrates the SDK. You will be able to pay directly with the tokens you have in your MetaMask. And you don't have to send it to our wallet. You can just tap into the money you have.
Hey, can you make the experience to change profile picture and name in the app a bit better so I can show up on the leaderboards. Thank you.
Yeah, so you've got a leaderboard. If you go to the top right, there's a leaderboard. I think you can change the name once. The profile picture, I've wipe coded it somewhere in a PR, but I didn't dare to deploy it. So it's waiting somewhere, yeah.
For agents, for example, OpenCloud agent, is this a potential solution to give the agent the possibility to pay?
So that's a good question. With agents, in the end, the agent, they still have to pay the local people, right? And they have QR codes. That's sort of the bridge that we want to build as well, that agents can build the local person who has a QR code or has it on the web shop in a straightforward fashion, yeah. We don't have anything live right now, but I think it's a matter of weeks or months until we have some command line client that OpenCloud can use directly.
More questions? There you go. 1, 2, 3.
Yeah, I was curious about the compliance part with the privacy tools that you're integrating. I work in a similar space as well. So one of the headaches is to make sure that the processors and all the banking partners are happy with what we're doing.
Yeah.
And they, in my experience, maybe I was just not lucky, but they don't want to hear about privacy pools. They don't want to hear about Railgun because they find them quite risky.
Yeah.
So what was your source to convince them to use them?
So with regards of the top 2 privacy pools and Bermuda, it's actually a little bit of benefit because they do chain analysis every time you deposit your assets in there. And that basically gives them a free chain analysis, know your transaction check. But then in reality, you have to check how much they care. Right now, most of them, they don't care that much. And we will see, yeah.
Do you find difference in their approach in different geographies?
Yes.
Like, for example,
Yes.
Asia cares less than Europe?
Yes.
Or
Yeah. Europe cares the most. It's the hardest. Asia is quite flexible. Particularly in countries where there's lots of tourists, like Vietnam, and they want to make it easy for them to pay.
Hello. What about Zcash and Monero? Are they in the roadmap?
So our protocol basically requires smart contracts to work. So to send out metadata that we need and to distribute kind of the fees as well. So that's why we won't be able to do that on Zcash or Monero, simply because of the fact they don't have smart contracts. There is a way to, one thing we will add support is to send money to Bitcoin Lightning. So you can pay with your assets in your wallet and scan a Bitcoin Lightning QR code. And then we do the swap and pay the Lightning receipt, or what it's called. Then the question is, how fast is it? If you're standing at the point of sale and you're paying, it has to be instant, or like 3 seconds. If it takes longer than 3 seconds, it gets very awkward very quickly. That's probably the biggest limiting factor we have in this system. It's how fast is it at the point of sale. Like, yeah.
Hey, so you specifically say QR code payments, but do you have plans to allow alias payments as well? Because many vendors here, for example, they only give you the alias to send money to. They don't have a QR code somewhere, and that's always a huge friction point.
That's a big friction point, yeah. I think technically it works in Brazil. We don't have it, but you can basically have an API call to resolve an alias into a QR code. I think that works in Brazil. In Argentina, that's most likely not going to work. In Vietnam, they don't have that. But yeah, we'll simply try to add as many conveniences for payments into the system. So once we find a way, we'll add it, yeah.
Great.
Okay, guys, thank you very much, Sebastian.
Thank you.
I mean, you did brought chocolate, so that might be the favorite talk of people. Not fair. How many of you used Yoro to pay for burgers and beers yesterday? There you go, a few, I like it. So by the end of EP, maybe we're gonna have a bunch of transactions. Last year was a little bit different. We had to onboard people into crypto. Now we can just keep doing the Pix thing. Very cool. So I know a lot of you guys have been waiting for this last talk. I'm gonna call Valerio from Raycash. We got some spoilers about what he's gonna talk about today. So thank you so much for being here with us, and we're excited.
Thank you. Do I have a clicker somewhere? Eccolo. Does it work? Let's try.
So he's about to put it on.
Okay. First of all, I'm honored to be the last one, so the pressure is on. I hope to don't spoil it for all the previous ones. But that's one bad news and a good news. Bad news is that there's still one talk. The good news is that I'm going to try to be short. Oh, this is the last slide, talking of spoilers. Okay, close your eyes. Okay. All right. Here we go. So I'm also happy to be the last one because I feel that this talk kind of brings together so many of the things that we talked about this morning. And we talked a lot about the importance of pop-up societies, the importance of going beyond the concept of land and pushing that into society. And we all are here because our intellectual fathers like Balaji, like Resmog, have made this concept more mainstream and possible. And of course, the advent of blockchain and AI has also helped a lot. But so as a society, if we want to go from, as I said, no, we go from land to society. But what a society is only as real as its economy. So we cannot say that we live in a society if we cannot distinguish that society, what's inside the society from what is outside the society. If there's not a real perimeter where people can build, save, pay, trade, earn, do all these very fundamental economic transactions freely and permissionlessly, then you don't really have a society. And this is very important. And I think about this phrase a lot because ultimately the most sincere feedback systems in the world, in our universe, are two. One is the law of physics. When I build a bridge, will my bridge stand or not? There's no way of having consensus on a bridge. It either stands or doesn't. And the other one is free markets. Free markets are incredibly important tools to arrive to some ground truth, to arrive to the conclusion of your projects, of your ideas, and see if they actually stand. And this is because money is the ultimate governance tool. So every time that we spend some money, we're actually voting. And that vote is very precious to us. Every time we spend $1 on one thing, is another dollar non-spent on something else. So we're making a binary choice. And that is also our ultimate skin in the game. And for this reason, I strongly believe that we talk a lot about special economic zones, but they are very important layers in building this stack. And I don't think we can have special economic zones if we don't build the special economic layer. And without a special economic layer, all the special economic zones, what a mouthful, remain trapped into a legacy system. And if you're trapped into a legacy system, then you cannot keep the value circulate internally in what you're trying to build into your society. And you cannot observe the output, the value. What is the GDP of what you're trying to build? Is it creating value or not for its citizens? And you cannot direct the focus
into activities that are aligned with your goal. For example, if you don't have a way to promote, let's say that you want to build a society where the focus is longevity, for example. If you don't have a way to promote more businesses that are doing healthy food versus fast foods, then your society will become weaker. So it's very important that societies have economic layers that allow founders and participants to direct the focus into things that are aligned with their goals. And we need to treat also the special economic zones as their own governments and their own treasuries. And this means that we need to look at how these zones and these societies can build a treasury which is verifiable, which is spendable by the zone for the benefit of the zone. And then the last one is design native incentives. We need to make sure that the incentives are aligned with everything that the reason why this zone exists. And yeah, so if we don't do that, then we end up creating ambitious projects which are just derivatives of the bigger society that are hosting them. And to do this, the solution is stablecoins, of course. So stablecoins allow you to prompt permissionless economies. I borrowed the phrase from Prompt a New City, but it is actually true. Thanks to stablecoins, we can build programmable money that has very specific rules that we can decide. And the stablecoins are internet native money that allows you to behave like a bank, create value without being necessarily a bank. And an example that I make here is society coins that could be used for eBay as well, right? So imagine the eBay USD, which is a currency that is created only to spend within eBay, where all of us, when we come here, we're already voting with our dollars. We spend money to come here. We are voting with our time. And also would like to be able to vote with my dollars and say, if I'm in eBay, I want to convert my money and spend my money into eBay City, such that from the blockchain, everybody can see the value that eBay is producing around the zone of Brazil and Florianópolis. And at the same time, it is also a benefit of for eBay because they can earn yield on the treasury, they can direct the effort, they can have grants, they can do all the activities that will help eBay succeed. Now, the eBay is just an example. I talk about eBay because we are here, of course. And at the same time, it's also important for the citizen freedom. Like as I mentioned before, I want to be able to spend and vote with my dollars and come in and out and use dollars as a signaling mechanism. Because if I'm happy about where the society is going, I'm going to put more dollars. If I'm not happy with the leader, with the government, with the governance, I'm going to put less dollars. And the signal is very strong and is actually the ultimate voting signal. And yeah, so an example here is that eBay USD will not be just a token, it will become its economic narrative. So become big enough and strong enough to become inevitable, to don't be ignored by other economies. And we talked before about society coins with cost that somebody asked a question, and I agree with the fact that we need to have the ability to wrap and unwrap new coins very freely, and societies have everything to gain in doing this because they will signal their mighty power, not necessarily because they become multi-billion-dollar societies, but also because they signal the alignment of the citizens. And this is great, but there is one problem. There is one problem with stablecoins. We touched it multiple times already, and the problem is that right now, to a banking institution, somebody that keeps the money for you, and that is usually quite good for keeping privacy, but it sucks for what we're trying to build here, which we are all caring about self-sovereignty and the ability of people to own their own money. But if you really go into that and you own your own money and you have your wallet, then everything will be public, and it's very hard to keep your life secret. This is what I call often as the stablecoin trilemma. So basically, the stablecoin trilemma says that you can have only 2 out of 3 between self-custody, banking features, and privacy. We already touched some things on this layer on the top right. We talked about Zcash, for example. We mentioned privacy pools. We talked about Railgun as well. So these are great tools that give you self-custody and privacy, but tend to break any integration with the real-world financial system, where banks don't want to touch your money. They are suspicious because they tend to be very risk-averse. And then on the left, we find all the other tools where there is self-custody and banking features, like we mentioned, ETFi and Gnosis Pay. Today with Fabio, we saw that basically there's no privacy with those things. And at the bottom, we find all those tools that are centralized, like exchanges and similar. So in general, it seems very hard to have all 3 of them. And this is important to solve because we reach an inflection point. So we know the stablecoins are mainstream. I mean, this chart is actually just a few months old and is already outdated. It's now even much bigger than that. The Genius Act is helping a lot. Now the stablecoins have gained a lot of acceptance by the traditional financial system. And there are a lot of new innovative solutions for privacy that allow people to create their own programmable privacy that makes it possible to select the things that you want to make public and to whom. So there is a solution to the trilemma, and the solution is to use confidential stablecoins with the FHE, which is one technology to make information private and make the information visible only to the people that you want to, and make it possible to have money that is self-custody, which is compliant with all the regulations, because we can now, thanks to FHE, we can now make it visible to regulators, but not to the outside world. And this opens up the opportunity to finally convince banks and make sure that they accept our money. And the solution is Raycash, is the company that also you might see in the logo sponsoring the EPEP. And Raycash is a global money account that is powered by confidential stablecoins. And we're honored to be here because we believe very much in all the ethos of the network states and startup societies, because we think that it's impossible for any of these endeavors to succeed if they remain trapped into the local financial systems. We all came here from around the world, and if I move to Brazil and I need to every time open a bank account in Brazil, and then I move to Dubai and need to open a bank account in Dubai, that is, I think, against the concept of this society that is now becoming bigger and bigger. People, they want to be detached from the land, they want to participate to a global internet digital economy, and money moving on the internet is what makes it possible. So we built Raycash with these 3 concepts at core. We care deeply about ownership, freedom, and privacy. And Raycash is almost indistinguishable from any of your fintech apps. And it is not a new chain, not token, no new behavior. You just open it, you just deposit your money, and you immediately get granted a card, a bank account, and you are able to spend it with your card. You can pay in PIX, you can pay with the wire, ACH, all the things that you would expect from that are table stakes now with any fintech app. And most importantly, you can do that without breaking your privacy. Raycash is going to be live in private beta already next month. So I would love to see you trying it. We're trying to get people from all across the world so that we can try this is possible. We are global, so we're not launching any particular, we're not geography. Everybody's welcome, and I hope that I can see you on Raycash very soon. Thank you very much.
Hey guys, we're gonna open questions. Anyone wants to start? There we go.
Yeah, so interesting concept that you talked about, especially with these special economic zones that they need their own economic layer. I've been thinking about that problem as well, and I wouldn't narrow it down to a stable coin necessarily. At least that's what I came up with in my design, because if we make it totally dependable on EPUSD, for example, we are making ourselves dependent on the US dollar. So my solution would have been a layer 2 actually, for a dedicated layer 2 for the city. What do you think about that?
I think that if you want to participate, I'll give you the same answer probably the cast I gave before. If you want to participate in a global economy, you need a global coin. And for pure market logic, it's very difficult to convince people outside of your society to buy your coin. And it will take a long time for you to build a reputation such that people will demand that coin. And if you don't do that, then, and before you even reach the reputation, then your coin will always fluctuate in value compared to other currencies. I believe that there's more value in having something stable, and it doesn't matter if it's dollar or euro or any other fiat currency. What really matters is that you can come in and out without any problem. So you're going to have a harder time to convince the citizen of IPE to convert their dollars if when they come out, maybe it's worth half the what they put, right? So I don't think that we are in the business of trading in this room. We don't want to bet our money. We want to signal with our money. I think that also the denomination is not very important, right? So if it's dollar or euro doesn't really matter as long as it's stable.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. So freedom of choice when it comes to currency, but within the layer 2 ecosystem. So you can track actually the GDP, what you've mentioned.
Yes, that is possible. I mean, we are agnostic against the system. It doesn't really matter. It's the concept of the design stands regardless of the underlying blockchain. Thank you for the question.
Questions?
That's really interesting. I want to know, there's
like no. We don't charge fee. We don't charge monthly fee. We don't charge payment. We don't charge almost any fee. From the small interchange when you use the card, there's a tiny forex fee when you convert dollars to other things, but that's it. There's no ongoing cost for you.
Okay, and then you said I can use Pix.
Yes, we're going to be live in Brazil with Pix as well.
That's nice. Okay.
Any more questions? Okay, thank you so much, Valerio.
Thank you for having me.
Did sign up for this wait list, but yeah, let's see. I'm excited. Do you think it's gonna be during IPE? No. Oh. Well, IPE is 1st of May. Maybe that counts. We can launch it in the demo day. Just planting the seed. Exactly. Be like there is a group of people back in Brazil. They're just waiting for it. Okay, guys, we're getting to the end of our Startup Society Conference 2026. I want to call back on stage Jean Hansen, the founder of IPE City, so we can do final considerations for the conference.
Yeah. Nice.
thanks. Just to wrap up, I would love to thank you all that came to Floripa, to the conference. I think that was an amazing experience, at least was for me. We are just getting started with Pop-Up Village, so if you got interested in this topic and you want to explore more hands-on and launch products and or even experiment many of these projects that we present here, everyone is welcome to join Founder House, AI House, Privacy House. All houses are open for residents to work from there, to attend the workshops. I think this conference is more for showing that many things that we talk, it's already happening. So I think that was the first impression from the first conference. It was the first Startup Society conference in Brazil. Actually, it's we are doing it's just us doing this Network State Startup Society in Brazil, and the first one was like just an eye-opening for everyone. Like there's people already building parallel societies, parallel institutions. There's people building new cities. So it's already happening, and like just in a matter of 1 year or 2 years, we saw the increase of the power of technology. So I think every technology that we need to solve all problems is already in place. We already have access to it. It's affordable. It's easy to use. So we have all technology that we need to, over the next 10, 20 years, create a more more rich and prosperous society, I think. So yeah, that's all. Thanks all for coming, and hope to see and talk to you guys later in the party or in the hacker houses over the week. So that's all. Thank you.
So stay here. I'm gonna get everybody to come in the front, and we're gonna take a group picture. So if you are a privacy anonymous weirdo, just don't come. Yeah, whoever doesn't want to show can take our picture. So just like a soccer team, if you can just stack some chairs, volunteers, if you can help us. Some of you can sit here. Some of you can sit in the floor. Move them away back. Get in the stage. Whoever is a speaker, get in the stage so you guys show. We are, yeah, just stack them on top of each other. You can put the chairs on top of each other. Oh yeah, you can flip the chairs and sit in the chairs. You guys are so smart. There we go. Sit in the chairs, guy. Very smart. Sit in the stage or in the chairs. Wow, I love it. Organize.
Organization.
I think Zook started today saying about organization, right? We gotta self-organize. That is what a DAO needs to do. So we're doing it. Sit in the chairs. Now that you stack the chairs, you can sit on it. And then speakers, please come on the stage. There you go. Let's help Joyce. Whoever is a core team member, volunteers, in stage. Lizzie on the stage. Zoo in stage. Eric. I mean, I don't want to spot out because maybe you're back there because you want to, but if you are not an anonymous, please come. This is going to be epic, historical picture. Come.
Just one more thing.
There you go. Tall people in the back, short people in the front.
Just one more thing. I think I'm kind of terrible on that, but...
Here, come here. Come here. Come closer. Yeah, you're not showing. Come. I'm going to go under here. Economiza o joelho.
One more thing, just to thank the organization team, of course. Like there's a lot of people making this.
There you go. Organization team. Volunteers. Yes, thank you so much.
I won't say name because I will forget someone. And
Victoria ran away. Yeah, you can see it. Perfect. Everybody good? 3. Oh, smart. Chega, chega, chega. Agora uma feijoada. Awesome, guys. Thank you so much for coming. We will see you either at the Dozy or on Monday at Founder House, 8 a.m. for breakfast. I want everybody from the core team of IPCity up in stage so we can do a team picture. All volunteers approach the stage. This is your time. Volunteers in the stage. Luna, stage. Daniel, stage. Keith, stage. Who else? Fabrício, stage. Maria, stage. Nayane. Daiane, yeah, I'm like, who's Nayane? Daiane, stage. Am I missing someone? Maria. Is there someone outside as a volunteer? Team, stage. Let's take a picture so we can go for caipirinhas. Or kombucha. Okay. Okay. We need to sit. Some of us sit here. There you go. There you go. Who's taking the picture? Who has a camera to take the picture? Whose phone is that? Joyce, we want a picture with Joyce. Joyce is our choice. Joyce is our choice. Here, let's open for her in the middle. You can sit here. One with Joyce. There you go. Who's gonna take it? Tony, die! Oh my God! What are you guys doing? Come, come! Another one. We need another one. Team picture. Go for lunch at P12
Beauty, I see you out there.